Welcome to our packed compilation of 350 random facts that will blow your mind. So please relax, like, subscribe, and enjoy. Number 1. Finland has consistently ranked as the happiest country in the world, according to the 2019 World Happiness Report. Factors such as a strong social support system, low corruption, high levels of trust among citizens, and a well-functioning government contribute to the overall well-being of Finns. The country also boasts breathtaking natural beauty, a strong work-life balance, and an emphasis on outdoor activities. With free education, universal health care, and a deep appreciation for sisu, resilience, it's no wonder Finland tops the charts. Number 2. Vanilla beans come from the world's only fruit-producing orchid, Vanilla planifolia. This delicate orchid requires hand pollination in most parts of the world, making vanilla one of the most labor-intensive crops to produce. Native to Mexico, where it was first cultivated by the Totonac people, vanilla was later introduced to other tropical regions. Despite its sweet and comforting aroma, vanilla production is anything but easy. It takes up to 4 years for the plant to produce its first beans. Number 3. Before it became Australia, the vast continent was known as New Holland. The name was given by Dutch explorers in the 17th century, most notably Abel Tasman. However, despite their early mapping of the land, the Dutch never settled there. It wasn't until 1824 that the British officially adopted the name Australia, a term derived from the Latin terra australis incognita, meaning unknown southern land. The switch reflected the growing British influence over the region. Number 4. In 2019, 20 prisoners were executed in the United States, marking one of the lowest numbers in decades. The use of the death penalty has been steadily declining due to growing ethical concerns, high costs, and wrongful conviction cases. Lethal injection remains the primary method, though some states still allow alternatives like electrocution or firing squads. Public opinion on capital punishment is shifting, with more people advocating for life sentences over execution as the debate over its morality continues. Number 5. Amnesty International recorded at least 690 executions across 20 countries in 2018, a 31% decrease from the previous year. China remains the leading country for executions, though its figures are not publicly disclosed. Other nations with high execution rates include Iran, Saudi Arabia, Vietnam, and Iraq. The global decline in executions reflects a growing trend toward the abolition of capital punishment. Despite this, thousands remain on death row, and the debate over the effectiveness of the death penalty persists worldwide. Number 6. A single pint of donated blood has the power to save up to 3 lives. Blood donations are essential for surgeries, accident victims, cancer treatments, and chronic illnesses. The average human body contains about 10 pints of blood, and donation is a simple, safe process. Each blood component, red cells, platelets, and plasma, can be used for different medical treatments, increasing its life-saving potential. With hospitals constantly in need, donating blood is one of the easiest ways to make a life-changing difference. Number 7. Many people assume that donated blood is purely an act of charity, but in reality, it's part of a massive $4.5 billion industry. Blood banks collect donations, but the processing, testing, and distribution of blood come at a cost. Hospitals and medical centers purchase it for transfusions and treatments. Some critics argue that donors should be compensated, while others believe that monetizing blood could create ethical concerns. Despite the controversy, blood donation remains a crucial component of modern healthcare. Number 8. Over the last 500 years, human activities have directly caused the extinction of at least 322 animal species. Habitat destruction, hunting, pollution, and climate change have all contributed to the loss of biodiversity. Many species that once thrived, such as the dodo, the Tasmanian tiger, and the passenger pigeon, are now only remembered through history books and museum exhibits. Conservation efforts are underway to prevent further extinctions, but unless major changes are made, many more species may disappear forever. Number 9. Animals, much like humans, respond to social pressure, a study has shown. Research on different species, including primates, birds, and even fish, reveals that animals alter their behavior based on social dynamics. They conform to group norms, imitate peers, and can even experience stress when socially excluded. Some species, such as chimpanzees, use deception or strategic alliances to navigate social hierarchies. These findings suggest that the roots of human social behavior may go much deeper than previously thought. Number 10. Looking at cute animal pictures at work might actually make you more productive. A study conducted in Japan found that viewing images of adorable animals can enhance focus, improve task performance, and even boost mood. The theory is that these images trigger positive emotions, which in turn increase motivation and cognitive function. So the next time someone catches you looking at baby otters or fluffy kittens, just tell them you're optimizing your productivity. Number 11. Charles Darwin wasn't just fascinated by animals, he also had a habit of eating them. As part of his research, he sampled nearly every animal he studied, from armadillos to iguanas. He was even part of the Glutton Club at Cambridge, a group dedicated to tasting exotic creatures. On his Beagle voyage, he tried puma, ostrich, and a rare bird species that became extinct shortly after. While his palate was adventurous, his appetite for knowledge shaped the foundation of evolutionary theory. Number 12. In the jungle, figs are more than just a snack. They are essential for survival. An estimated 70% of all animals in tropical forests rely on figs as a primary or backup food source. These nutrient-rich fruits are available year-round, making them a crucial food source for monkeys, bats, birds, and even insects. Many fig trees have evolved unique relationships with wasps for pollination, ensuring their survival. Without figs, entire ecosystems could collapse, showing just how vital this fruit is to biodiversity. Number 13. With over 1 billion speakers, English is the most widely spoken language in the world. That means 1 in every 7 people on Earth can communicate in English to some degree. While English is not the most spoken native language, Mandarin holds that title, its status as the global lingua franca makes it essential in business, science, and technology. Whether as a first or second language, English continues to evolve and expand, shaping communication across cultures. Number 14. A staggering 80% of the world's digitally stored information is in English. From emails and research papers to social media posts and programming languages, English dominates the digital landscape. While the internet allows for multilingual communication, English remains the default language for most global platforms, business transactions, and academic research. However, as technology advances, other languages, such as Chinese and Spanish, are growing in online presence, potentially shifting the linguistic balance of the digital world. Number 15. Every 98 minutes, a brand new word is added to the English language. That's about 14 new words per day. English constantly evolves, borrowing from other languages, pop culture, and technology. Words like selfie, binge watch, and ghosting didn't exist a few decades ago. Social media accelerates this process, with internet slang and abbreviations becoming official dictionary entries. While some words fade away, others become permanent fixtures in our vocabulary, proving that language is always changing. Number 16. English proficiency in Sweden is remarkably high. 89% of Swedes can speak English fluently. This is due to the country's strong emphasis on language education and exposure to English media. Unlike some countries that dub foreign films, Sweden primarily uses subtitles, helping people learn English naturally from a young age. Additionally, the country's global business connections and high internet usage reinforce English as a second language. As a result, Sweden ranks among the best non-native English-speaking countries in the world. Number 17. The word bride has an unexpected origin. It comes from an old Proto-Germanic word meaning to cook. Historically, in many cultures, a woman's role in marriage was closely tied to domestic duties, including preparing food. While modern marriages have evolved far beyond this association, the linguistic root remains a fascinating reflection of how traditional gender roles shaped language. Today, the word bride symbolizes new beginnings, love, and commitment, far more than just culinary skills. Number 18. The concept of being cool may have African origins. Some linguists believe it comes from the Yoruba word itutu, which means calmness, grace, and inner peace. Enslaved Africans brought this concept to America, where it merged with English and eventually evolved into the slang we use today. Over time, cool became synonymous with confidence, charisma, and effortless style. From jazz musicians in the 1940s to pop culture icons today, being cool has always been more than just temperature. It's an attitude. Number 19. The sun is so massive that you could fit 1.3 million Earths inside it. Despite being an average-sized star, the sun's volume is truly mind-blowing. It makes up about 99.8% of the total mass of our solar system, with Jupiter accounting for most of the remaining 0.2%. The sun's gravitational pull is what keeps all the planets in orbit. Without it, our entire solar system would drift apart, proving just how crucial this giant ball of gas is to our existence. Number 20. If you could drill a tunnel straight through Earth and jump in, you'd reach the other side in just 42 minutes. That's assuming there's no air resistance, friction, or the Earth's molten core getting in the way. In theory, you would accelerate as you fell toward the center due to gravity, reaching a top speed of around 17,600 miles per hour. Then, you'd slow down as gravity pulled you back, oscillating like a pendulum until eventually coming to rest at the core. Number 21. Just as the moon goes through phases when viewed from Earth, our planet also has phases when seen from the moon. Depending on the observer's position, Earth appears to change shape, much like how the moon waxes and wanes. Since Earth reflects much more sunlight than the moon, astronauts on the lunar surface have described it as a breathtaking sight. This Earthshine effect helps scientists study planetary atmospheres and may aid in discovering Earth-like exoplanets in the future. Number 22. Light from the sun takes exactly 8 minutes and 20 seconds to reach Earth. This means when you look at the sun, don't stare directly at it, you're actually seeing it as it was 8 minutes ago. If the sun were to suddenly disappear, we wouldn't even notice right away. The speed of light is incredibly fast, about 186,000 miles per second. But even at that speed, the vast distances of space cause significant delays in what we perceive in real time. Number 23. The solar system takes roughly 240 million years to complete one full orbit around the Milky Way galaxy. This means that the last time Earth was in its current galactic position, dinosaurs still roamed the planet. Our solar system travels at an astonishing 514,000 miles per hour through space, yet it moves so gradually on a galactic scale that we don't notice. By the time it completes its next orbit, humans may have evolved or gone extinct, just like the dinosaurs. Number 24. Earth is the only place in the solar system where water exists in all three states: solid, liquid, and vapor. This is due to our planet's unique atmospheric pressure and temperature range. Other planets have ice, and some, like Venus, have thick clouds of gas, but nowhere else has all three forms coexisting naturally. This delicate balance is crucial for life as we know it, making Earth a rare gem in the vast emptiness of space. Number 25. Farts travel at an average speed of 10 feet per second, which is approximately 7 miles per hour. While that might not seem particularly fast, considering the short distance they travel, it's enough to be noticed, both physically and socially. The speed varies depending on diet, digestion, and individual gut bacteria. Although often a source of humor, flatulence is actually a sign of a healthy digestive system. It results from gas buildup in the intestines, which needs to be released. Number 26. More than half, 51% of people believe that stormy weather affects cloud computing. While the name cloud computing might make it sound like it has something to do with the sky, it actually refers to storing and processing data on remote servers. Actual clouds in the sky have no impact on how it works. However, extreme weather can disrupt internet access and power supplies, indirectly affecting cloud-based services. Despite the confusion, the digital cloud remains firmly unaffected by the weather. Number 27. A butt was once a real unit of measurement for wine during the Middle Ages. It referred to a large barrel capable of holding approximately 126 gallons, or about 475 liters, of liquid. The term came from the Old French word bot, which described large storage casks. Shakespeare even referenced it in Hamlet, where a character is said to have been drowned in a butt of Malmsey wine. Despite its amusing name, it was a legitimate measure in historical trade. Number 28. 7% of religious Americans have admitted to praying for a good parking spot. While this may seem like an unusual request for divine intervention, it highlights how people integrate faith into everyday life. Whether facing a full parking lot at a shopping center or struggling to find a space in a busy city, some people believe a little prayer might help. Though it's debatable whether divine assistance actually affects parking, for many, faith offers comfort in all situations. Number 29. In Spanish, the word esposas has two vastly different meanings: wives and handcuffs. This linguistic quirk has led to jokes about marriage being a form of imprisonment, though the connection is purely coincidental. The word esposas comes from Latin roots, meaning to bind, which applies both to legal marital unions and physical restraints. Many languages contain words with multiple meanings like this, showcasing the fascinating and sometimes humorous complexities of translation and linguistics. Number 30. Every human being starts life as an asshole, literally. During early embryonic development, the first opening that forms in the human body is the anus. Humans belong to a category of animals called deuterostomes, which means second mouth, because the mouth forms later. While this fact is humorous, it's also a fascinating glimpse into evolution and developmental biology. It serves as a reminder that, at one point, every person on the planet had exactly the same anatomical beginning. Number 31. In 2014, a pair of underpants donated by the mayor of Brussels was stolen from the Brussels Underpants Museum. Yes, there was an actual museum dedicated to undergarments. This bizarre theft became a local mystery, as the underwear was considered a prized exhibit. The museum featured an unusual collection of underpants from famous and historical figures. While it may seem like an odd subject for a museum, it offered a lighthearted look at the history of human clothing. Number 32. Ronaldinho, one of the most famous soccer players in the world, lost his lucrative endorsement deal with Coca-Cola after being caught sipping a Pepsi at a news conference. The deal was worth nearly $800,000 per year, but the simple act of drinking a rival brand's soda was enough to end it. This highlights how strict sponsorship contracts can be, especially in sports, where brand loyalty is heavily enforced. One sip of the wrong drink proved to be a costly mistake. Number 33. The Danish word for condom is svangerskabsforebyggende middel, which translates to pregnancy-preventing device. The word is one of the longest in the Danish language and is a perfect example of how some languages prefer compound words instead of creating entirely new ones. While English has short and simple terms for many common objects, some languages construct highly descriptive words that directly explain their function. Thankfully, most Danish speakers simply use a shorter alternative in everyday conversation. Number 34. If you type askew into Google, the entire search page will tilt slightly to the right. This is one of many hidden Easter eggs built into Google's search engine, designed to entertain users. Other fun Google tricks include searching "do a barrel roll," which makes the entire screen spin, and Google Gravity, which causes everything on the page to fall to the bottom of the screen. These small surprises showcase Google's playful side and make browsing a little more fun. Number 35. More than half, 55% of Americans believe they are smarter than the average American. Statistically, this is impossible, as only half of any group can be above average. This overconfidence, known as the Dunning-Kruger effect, is a psychological phenomenon where people with low ability overestimate their competence. It is common in areas like intelligence, driving skills, and general knowledge. While confidence can be beneficial, recognizing one's own limitations is just as important for true wisdom. Number 36. The more features your phone has, the longer you are likely to spend in the bathroom. Studies show that smartphones have extended the average bathroom stay, as people scroll through social media, play games, or watch videos while sitting on the toilet. While this may seem harmless, prolonged bathroom use can lead to issues like hemorrhoids due to unnecessary strain. Despite this, many people see the bathroom as a private retreat, a place for both bodily functions and digital entertainment. Number 37. Paris syndrome is a psychological disorder that primarily affects Japanese tourists who visit Paris and realize it isn't as romantic or perfect as they expected. Symptoms include dizziness, anxiety, hallucinations, and extreme disappointment. The phenomenon is believed to stem from the idealized image of Paris in Japanese culture, which contrasts with the reality of a busy city with crime, noise, and rude locals. The Japanese embassy in Paris even provides assistance for tourists suffering from the condition. Number 38. In ancient Greek mythology, it was believed that red-haired people would turn into vampires after they died. This superstition arose from the idea that redheads were unusual and mysterious, often associated with magic or curses. Red hair was rare in Greece, and people with it were sometimes viewed as outsiders. While this myth is obviously false, it's an interesting example of how ancient cultures created supernatural explanations for anything they found unusual or different. Number 39. 1 in 4 Americans believes that the sun revolves around the Earth rather than the other way around. This misunderstanding of basic astronomy was revealed in a survey conducted by the National Science Foundation. Despite centuries of scientific evidence proving heliocentrism, a surprising number of people still hold outdated views. This highlights the importance of science education and how misconceptions can persist even in modern society. Thankfully, most people do understand that Earth orbits the sun. Number 40. 1 in 10 Americans believes that HTML, the coding language used for web pages, is a sexually transmitted disease. This statistic was revealed in a survey that tested the general public's knowledge of technology-related terms. While it may seem amusing, it highlights how many people remain unfamiliar with basic digital concepts, despite living in an increasingly tech-driven world. As technology becomes more embedded in daily life, digital literacy is becoming just as essential as traditional literacy. Number 41. When Montenegro became independent from Yugoslavia, its internet domain name changed from .u to .me. The transition not only symbolized the country's newfound independence, but also turned out to be a marketing success. The .me domain became highly sought after for personal websites and branding. Many companies and individuals registered domains like love.me and hire.me, making Montenegro's country code one of the most commercially attractive internet domains. It was a small but clever way to embrace digital globalization. Number 42. The scientific name for the western lowland gorilla is gorilla gorilla gorilla. This might sound repetitive, but it follows a specific classification rule in taxonomy. The first, gorilla, represents the genus, the second is the species, and the third specifies the subspecies. Scientists use this system to categorize organisms, but in some cases, the names turn out amusingly redundant. While this particular gorilla's name is a tongue twister, it emphasizes how precise scientific naming conventions can be. Number 43. In 2007, a Bosnian couple divorced after discovering they had been having an online affair with each other under fake names. Both had been secretly chatting with a mystery lover online, only to find out that they had been talking to their own spouse the entire time. Instead of seeing the irony in their situation, they ended their marriage, each blaming the other for infidelity. The bizarre story became an internet sensation, highlighting the unexpected dangers of online romance. Number 44. The average speed of a squirt of Heinz ketchup is 0.028 miles per hour. That means it moves slower than a tortoise walking. The thickness of ketchup, known as viscosity, is what makes it pour so sluggishly from the bottle. Heinz even developed the 57 trick, tapping the number 57 on the neck of the glass bottle, to speed up the flow. Despite its slow pace, ketchup remains one of the most popular condiments worldwide. Number 45. More than 1/3, 35%, of American workers say they would willingly give up a pay raise if it meant their boss would be fired. This statistic highlights workplace dissatisfaction and the strained relationships many employees have with their supervisors. A bad boss can negatively impact productivity, job satisfaction, and mental health. While this survey result is humorous, it also points to a broader issue of workplace leadership and the need for better management practices. Number 46. In the United States, there is an official rock, paper, scissors league. While the game is often seen as a simple childhood pastime, competitive rock, paper, scissors is taken seriously by some enthusiasts. The league hosts tournaments where players use strategy and psychology to outthink their opponents. Some competitors study patterns, hand movements, and behavioral cues to gain an advantage. While it may seem like pure luck, dedicated players argue that skill and tactics play a major role in winning. Number 47. Leonardo DiCaprio was named Leonardo because his mother was standing in front of a Leonardo da Vinci painting when she first felt him kick in her womb. Inspired by the moment, she decided to name her future son after the great Renaissance artist. The name proved fitting, as DiCaprio grew up to become one of the most celebrated actors of his generation. His career has spanned decades, earning him numerous awards, including an Academy Award for The Revenant. Number 48. A group of owls is called a parliament. The name comes from old folklore and literature, where owls have long been associated with wisdom and intelligence. The term gained popularity after appearing in C.S. Lewis's The Chronicles of Narnia, in which a gathering of owls is called the Parliament of Owls. Unlike many other birds that flock together for safety, owls are usually solitary. However, when they do gather, the name Parliament adds a poetic touch to their mysterious nature. Number 49. The word pencil has an amusing origin. It comes from the Latin word penicillus, which means small penis or little tail. This term originally referred to fine brushes used for writing or drawing, as they resembled tiny paintbrushes made from animal hair. Over time, as graphite replaced ink and brushes, the word penicillus evolved into pencil. While the modern meaning has nothing to do with its anatomical root, the etymology is a funny reminder of how language changes over time. Number 50. Lizards have a fascinating ability to move their eyelids, allowing them to blink and clear debris from their eyes. Some species, like iguanas, can completely close their eyes to sleep or protect themselves from harsh sunlight. Others, such as geckos, lack movable eyelids and instead rely on a transparent scale called a spectacle to shield their vision. This remarkable adaptation helps lizards stay alert to predators and maintain their survival in various challenging environments. Number 2. The world-famous Mona Lisa painting by Leonardo da Vinci is surprisingly small, standing at just 30 inches tall and 20 inches wide. Despite its modest dimensions, it captivates millions with its mysterious smile and detailed artistry. Displayed in the Louvre Museum in Paris, visitors are often surprised to see how tiny the masterpiece is compared to its enormous reputation. Though petite in size, the Mona Lisa remains one of the most recognized and celebrated works of art globally. Number 3. Did you know that Mona Lisa isn't actually the subject's real name? Historians widely believe the woman in Da Vinci's masterpiece to be Lisa Gherardini, the wife of a wealthy Florentine merchant. The name Mona Lisa is derived from the Italian phrase Mona Lisa, which translates to Lady Lisa. Despite ongoing speculation about her identity, her enigmatic expression continues to spark curiosity and intrigue among art lovers, scholars, and tourists from around the world. Number 4. Levi's, the iconic denim brand, was founded in San Francisco in 1853 by a German immigrant named Levi Strauss. Originally, the company sold dry goods such as fabric, clothing, and household items to miners during the California Gold Rush. It wasn't until 1873 that Levi partnered with tailor Jacob Davis to invent the first riveted denim jeans, designed to withstand the demands of manual laborers such as miners and railroad workers. Number 5. Before they became known as jeans, Levi's iconic pants were originally called waist overalls. The founders used this practical term to emphasize their purpose as durable workwear for miners and laborers during the late 19th century. Over time, as denim pants gained popularity beyond the workforce and entered mainstream fashion, the term jeans became widely adopted. Today, what started as rugged workwear has evolved into a global symbol of style and casual comfort. Number 6. Rolex, the legendary luxury watch brand, was founded in 1905 by Hans Wilsdorf and Alfred Davis under the original name Wilsdorf and Davis. The company initially imported high-precision Swiss watch movements and housed them in British cases, catering to an audience that valued quality timepieces. It wasn't until 1908 that the brand adopted the name Rolex, chosen for its simplicity, elegance, and ease of pronunciation in multiple languages, setting the stage for worldwide recognition. Number 7. In 1926, Rolex introduced the Oyster, the first wristwatch marketed as waterproof and dustproof. It gained fame when swimmer Mercedes Gleitze wore it during her English Channel swim, proving its durability. However, the first waterproof watch was actually the 1919 Waltham de Pallier, used by soldiers during World War I. Despite this, Rolex's marketing genius made the oyster an enduring icon of innovation, trusted by divers, adventurers, and watch enthusiasts for decades. Number 8. Many Germanic languages name Thursday after Thor, the Norse god of thunder. In Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, the day is known as Torsdag, while in Germany it's called Donnerstag, meaning Thunder Day. The Netherlands follows with Donderdag, a similar reference to thunder. This linguistic connection to Thor's mythology reflects the cultural impact of Norse traditions across Europe, with his influence persisting in the language and calendar systems long after the Viking Age. Number 9. In ancient Estonia, Thursdays were considered sacred, and people refrained from working on that day. Instead, they celebrated evenings of Turu, a time dedicated to honoring Turu, a deity associated with thunder and fertility. These special evenings were filled with communal gatherings, storytelling, and rituals aimed at ensuring prosperity and good fortune. Even today, elements of this tradition can still be seen in Estonian folklore and rural customs, highlighting the deep ties between culture and spirituality. Number 10. The ancient Egyptians regarded onions as powerful symbols of eternal life. Their layered structure, with rings within rings, represented infinity and the cyclical nature of existence. Onions were so sacred that they were often placed in the tombs of pharaohs to provide sustenance in the afterlife. Archaeologists have even discovered traces of onions in the eye sockets of mummies like Pharaoh Ramses IV, showing how deeply intertwined onions were with beliefs about immortality. Number 11. Onions are often used in schools to teach students how to use microscopes because their cells are large and easy to observe. When a thin slice of an onion is placed under a microscope, students can clearly see the cell walls, nuclei, and other structures. This makes onions an ideal introduction to biology, helping young learners understand cell composition and basic scientific observation. Thanks to their accessibility and clarity, onions have become a staple in classrooms worldwide. Number 12. Arctic foxes are the only land mammals native to Iceland, thriving in its harsh and frozen landscapes. With their thick, insulating fur and compact body shape, they are perfectly adapted to the extreme cold. Arctic foxes primarily feed on birds, small mammals, and even leftovers from larger predators. Their ability to survive in such a challenging environment makes them a symbol of resilience, and they have played an important role in Icelandic folklore and culture for centuries. Number 13. Arctic foxes have an incredible adaptation, color-changing fur that helps them blend into their surroundings. In the winter, their fur turns a brilliant white, making them nearly invisible against the snowy landscape. When summer arrives, they shed this coat and replace it with a gray-brown one, which camouflages them against rocks and tundra. This seasonal transformation is essential for survival, allowing them to stay hidden from predators while also improving their ability to hunt effectively. Number 14. In 2019, studies conducted in China and Puerto Rico found a surprising link between consuming allium vegetables, such as onions, garlic, and shallots, and a lower risk of several types of cancer. Researchers believe that the sulfur compounds and antioxidants found in these vegetables help reduce inflammation and protect cells from damage. These findings reinforce the long-standing belief that onions and their relatives are not only flavorful additions to meals, but also powerful allies for health. Number 15. The largest bell in the Leaning Tower of Pisa, called La Sunta, weighs about 7,900 pounds, the same as an adult female African elephant. This enormous bell, along with 6 others, forms a musical scale when rung. Despite the tower's famous tilt, engineers have carefully managed the bell's use to avoid causing further instability. The bells have historically been used to mark important occasions, adding to the tower's charm and historical significance. Number 16. The Leaning Tower of Pisa was never meant to lean. During its construction in the 12th century, builders quickly realized the foundation, made of soft clay, sand, and shells, was too unstable to support the heavy marble structure. As the ground shifted unevenly, the tower began to tilt. Over the centuries, numerous attempts were made to stabilize it, including counterweights and soil removal. Today, thanks to careful engineering, the famous tilt has been preserved without risking collapse. Number 17. The earliest records of yogic practices can be found in the ancient Hindu scriptures known as the Vedas, specifically the Rig Veda, which dates back to approximately 1000 BC. These texts contain hymns and philosophical concepts that laid the foundation for modern yoga practices. Early yogis focused on meditation, breath control, and spiritual discipline as a path to enlightenment. Over time, these principles evolved into the diverse yoga styles that millions of people practice today for both physical and mental well-being. Number 18. Uganda is one of the youngest countries in the world, with nearly 48% of its population under the age of 15. This youthful demographic presents both opportunities and challenges as the country works to expand its education and healthcare systems. With such a large proportion of young people, Uganda is often seen as a nation full of potential, with the younger generation expected to play a crucial role in shaping its economic and social future. Number 19. On average, men tend to get bored of shopping trips after about 26 minutes, while women can often shop for much longer periods without losing interest. Studies suggest that men typically prefer a goal-oriented shopping approach, while women enjoy browsing and exploring different options. To accommodate this difference, many stores have introduced features like seating areas or entertainment options to keep men occupied while their partners continue shopping, making the experience more enjoyable for everyone. Number 20. A staggering 95% of people admit that they text things they would never say in person. Whether it's confessing feelings, apologizing, or even confronting someone, texting provides a sense of distance and security. Without face-to-face interaction, people feel more comfortable expressing themselves honestly or emotionally. However, this reliance on digital communication can sometimes lead to misunderstandings, as tone and nuance are often lost in text messages, making it harder to convey true intentions. Number 21. Human blood cells have different lifespans, each serving a unique function within the body. Red blood cells, which carry oxygen, live for about 4 months before being replaced. White blood cells, the body's defense against infections, can last anywhere from a few hours to several days. Platelets, responsible for blood clotting, circulate for about 9 days. This constant renewal ensures that the body remains healthy and capable of fighting infections, healing wounds, and delivering vital nutrients throughout the bloodstream. Number 22. The world's shortest tree, the dwarf willow, thrives in cold and harsh environments such as the Arctic tundra. Rarely growing more than a few inches tall, it spreads out horizontally to withstand freezing winds and extreme conditions. Despite its tiny stature, this resilient tree plays an essential role in its ecosystem, providing shelter for small animals and contributing to soil stability. The dwarf willow's ability to survive in such unforgiving climates showcases nature's remarkable adaptability. Number 23. Redheads have a unique genetic trait that makes them more resistant to certain types of pain, yet more sensitive to others. Studies suggest that red-haired individuals typically require about 20% more anesthesia during medical procedures compared to people with other hair colors. This difference is linked to the MC1R gene mutation, which affects not only hair pigmentation, but also pain perception and the body's response to anesthesia. As a result, doctors often adjust doses for red-haired patients accordingly. Number 24. As of 2024, Madagascar has a larger population than Australia, despite the latter being a much bigger country in terms of land mass. While Australia is known for its vast open spaces and relatively small population, Madagascar, with its tropical climate and rich biodiversity, supports a rapidly growing number of people. This surprising contrast highlights how geography, climate, and historical development can influence population distribution in different parts of the world. Number 25. Even though the Statue of Liberty stands proudly on Liberty Island, which belongs to New York, it is actually closer to New Jersey's mainland. This has led to ongoing debates between the two states over the years regarding ownership and territorial claims. However, despite its geographical proximity to New Jersey, the statue's official designation and governance fall under New York's jurisdiction. Regardless of the technicalities, The statue remains a universal symbol of freedom and democracy. Number 26. A squid's brain is uniquely shaped like a torus, or a ring, with its esophagus running directly through the middle of it. This unusual anatomy means that if a squid swallows food that is too large, it risks damaging its own brain. Despite this odd design, squids are highly intelligent creatures, capable of problem-solving, complex communication, and even using tools. Their fascinating nervous system and adaptability make them one of the most intriguing creatures in the ocean. Number 27. Some insects and small birds experience time differently from humans, seeing the world in what seems like slow motion. This is because their eyes process visual information at a much higher frame rate, allowing them to detect rapid movements that would appear as a blur to us. This ability gives them a crucial advantage when escaping predators or catching prey. Imagine how slow the world might seem to a fly dodging a swatting hand in what feels like slow motion to them. Number 28. Beaver anal secretions, known as castoreum, have been used as a natural vanilla flavoring in certain foods and luxury cosmetics. This musky aromatic substance, produced from glands near the tail, has a scent reminiscent of vanilla and has been historically used in perfumes and food additives. Though it's rarely used today due to synthetic alternatives, castoreum remains a fascinating example of how unexpected natural sources have played a role in human culinary and cosmetic history. Number 29. The world record for stuffing drinking straws into a mouth at once stands at an astonishing 650 straws. Achieved by a dedicated record breaker with incredible jaw control and determination, this bizarre feat required not only physical endurance, but also strategic placement to maximize capacity. Such records, while amusing and seemingly impractical, showcase the lengths people will go to in order to achieve recognition in the Guinness World Records and push the limits of human capability. Number 30. Spread across an entire lifetime, the average person spends about 1 full year sitting on the toilet. Whether it's reading, scrolling on a phone, or simply waiting, those brief daily moments add up significantly over the years. This statistic serves as a humorous reminder of how much time we devote to everyday activities without even realizing it. With modern distractions, bathroom time has become more than just a necessity. It's often a brief escape from a busy day. Number 31. The year 46 BC, known as the Year of Confusion, lasted an incredible 445 days. Julius Caesar introduced 3 extra months to realign the Roman calendar with the seasonal year, as it had fallen out of sync. This adjustment was part of his larger effort to reform the calendar, eventually leading to the creation of the Julian calendar, which became the standard for centuries. The extended year caused widespread confusion, but successfully corrected the misalignment. Number 32. Every minute, the human body sheds over 30,000 dead skin cells. This constant shedding is part of the body's natural renewal process, as new skin cells replace the old ones. In fact, the outermost layer of your skin regenerates completely about every 28 days. Surprisingly, a large portion of household dust consists of these tiny flakes of skin, which accumulate over time. Despite being invisible to the naked eye, this process is crucial for maintaining healthy skin. Number 33. Tears contain a natural painkiller known as leucine and enkephalin, which helps reduce pain and improve mood. This chemical, released when we cry, acts similarly to endorphins, providing a calming effect during times of emotional stress. Whether caused by sadness, frustration, or even joy, shedding tears isn't just a physical response. It's also a built-in mechanism for self-soothing and emotional release. So the next time you cry, remember that your tears are actually helping you feel better. Number 34. Babies are born with around 300 bones, but as they grow, many of these bones fuse together, resulting in the 206 bones that make up the adult human skeleton. This natural process allows for greater flexibility during infancy, making it easier for babies to move and adapt to the world around them. Over time, certain bones in the skull, spine, and limbs gradually merge, providing the strength and support needed for an active adult life. Number 35. William Addis invented the first mass-produced toothbrush, while serving time in prison in the late 18th century. Using a small piece of cow bone and bristles from a pig, he crafted an early version of what would become an everyday essential. Upon his release, he turned his invention into a successful business, revolutionizing personal hygiene. Before toothbrushes, people used rags, sticks, or even crushed shells to clean their teeth, making Addis's creation a game-changer in oral care. Number 36. A hummingbird's tongue is a marvel of nature, capable of flicking up to 18 times per second while feeding. This rapid movement allows the tiny bird to efficiently lap up nectar from flowers, consuming its body weight in food daily to maintain its high-energy lifestyle. Hummingbirds have specialized tongues with tiny grooves that draw in liquid through capillary action, making them some of the most efficient feeders in the animal kingdom. Number 37. Bangladesh experiences 6 distinct seasons, unlike the 4 found in many other parts of the world. These seasons, summer, monsoon, autumn, late autumn, winter, and spring, each bring their own unique weather patterns and cultural significance. The monsoon season, for example, brings heavy rains that are essential for agriculture, while winter provides a brief period of cool, dry weather. The rich seasonal variation influences the country's festivals, farming cycles, and daily life in profound ways. Number 38. The world's first underground railway opened in London in 1863, revolutionizing urban transportation. Originally called the Metropolitan Railway, it featured steam-powered trains running through tunnels beneath the city. Today, it's known as the London Underground or the Tube, and it has grown into a vast network serving millions of passengers daily. Despite its modern upgrades, remnants of the original Victorian design can still be seen in some of the oldest stations. Number 39. London's iconic red buses have been painted their signature color for more than 100 years. The bold red hue was chosen in the early 20th century to help distinguish the buses from competing transport companies, making them easily recognizable to passengers. Today, the red bus is a beloved symbol of London, appearing in countless movies, postcards, and tourist snapshots, cementing its place in the city's cultural identity. Number 40. The tradition of Halloween has its roots in the 8th century, when the Catholic Church designated November 1st as All Saints' Day, also known as All Hallows' Day. This made October 31st the eve of the celebration, which was called All Hallows' Eve. Over time, the name evolved into Halloween and eventually Halloween. The holiday has since grown into a global celebration filled with costumes, candy, and spooky festivities, blending ancient customs with modern fun. Number 41. Roses are among the oldest flowers known to symbolize love and passion, with their history dating back over 5,000 years. Ancient civilizations, including the Romans and Greeks, associated roses with their goddesses of love, such as Aphrodite and Venus. The tradition of giving roses as a gesture of affection continues today, with different colors carrying specific meanings: red for love, yellow for friendship, and white for purity. Their timeless beauty and fragrance make them a universal symbol of romance. Number 42. Wisconsin is known as the Badger State, but not because of the animal. The nickname actually originates from the state's lead miners in the early 19th century. These miners, who worked in the hills and dug tunnels for shelter during the harsh winters, were compared to badgers because of their burrowing lifestyle. The term stuck, and Wisconsin adopted the badger as an official state symbol, appearing on everything from sports team logos to government seals. Number 43. Space has a distinct smell, often described by astronauts as a mix of diesel fumes, gunpowder, and barbecue. This unique odor is caused by particles from dying stars, known as polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which are released into space and stick to astronauts' suits when they return to the spacecraft. Though space itself is a vacuum and odorless, these residual particles create a scent that reminds astronauts of burnt metal and charred steak, adding an unexpected sensory experience to space travel. Number 44. Louis Braille was only 12 years old when he began developing the tactile reading system that would change the lives of visually impaired people around the world. Inspired by a system of silent military communication, Braille simplified and adapted it into an efficient method using raised dots. Despite facing challenges and initial resistance, his system eventually became widely accepted, providing blind individuals with a way to read and write independently, revolutionizing accessibility in education and communication. Number 45. Before European explorers arrived, the area now known as West Virginia was home to a diverse range of indigenous tribes and cultures. Tribes such as the Shawnee, Cherokee, and Iroquois lived off the land, utilizing its abundant resources for hunting, fishing, and farming. The rugged Appalachian terrain provided natural protection and shaped their way of life. Though European settlers eventually displaced many of these tribes, their influence remains embedded in the state's culture, place names, and history. Number 46. Broccoli is part of the same family as cabbage, known as the Brassicaceae family, which also includes cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale, collard greens, and kohlrabi. This family of vegetables, commonly referred to as cruciferous vegetables, is packed with nutrients and health benefits. Rich in fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants, broccoli is widely recognized for its role in supporting heart health, digestion, and cancer prevention. Despite its sometimes polarizing taste, it remains a popular and versatile ingredient in many cuisines. Number 47. Famous composer Ludwig van Beethoven was highly particular about his morning coffee, insisting that each cup be made with exactly 60 beans. This meticulous habit reflects his obsession with precision, which extended beyond music to everyday life. Beethoven's coffee ritual became well known among his friends and contemporaries, who often found his demands amusing. Whether it was superstition or simply a preference, his love for coffee fueled his creative genius and rigorous composition process. Number 48. Venetia Burney, an 11-year-old girl from England, suggested the name Pluto for the then 9th planet of our solar system. Inspired by the Roman god of the underworld, she believed the name suited the distant, mysterious planet. Her suggestion was accepted in 1930, and Pluto remained a planet until its reclassification as a dwarf planet in 2006. Remarkably, Venetia lived long enough to witness Pluto's demotion, bringing her connection to the celestial body full circle. Number 49. The wood frog has an extraordinary survival ability. It can hold its urine for up to 8 months. During the freezing winter months, this amphibian's body enters a state of suspended animation, with its metabolism slowing down almost entirely. Urea, usually excreted as waste, is recycled within the frog's body to help prevent ice crystals from forming in its tissues. This incredible adaptation allows the wood frog to survive harsh conditions and resume normal activity when spring arrives. Number 50. Avocados contain a natural fungicide called persin, which is harmless to humans but highly toxic to certain animals, including cattle, goats, and birds. If ingested in large amounts, persin can cause respiratory distress, heart problems, and even death in some animals. While avocados are a beloved superfood for people, pet owners should be cautious about leaving them within reach of animals. Despite this toxicity, avocados remain a nutrient-rich fruit packed with healthy fats, fiber, and vitamins. Number 1. Jackie Coogan, the beloved actor who played Oliver in Oliver Twist and Uncle Fester in The Addams Family, is believed to have taken justice into his own hands. After his childhood friend was kidnapped and murdered, Coogan allegedly joined a mob that stormed the prison and lynched the perpetrator. Talk about life imitating art. Despite his dark past, Coogan went on to leave a legacy in Hollywood and even inspired the famous Coogan Law to protect child actors' earnings. Number 2. Ever wish your farts didn't stink? There's a magical over-the-counter product called Bismuth Subgalate, sold under the brand name Devrom, that can make your gas smell less awful, or even odorless. Originally made for people with short bowel syndrome, which can create some powerful smells, it's perfectly safe for anyone looking to stay fresh. Whether you're stuck in a crowded elevator or just want to avoid embarrassment, this little pill might just be your secret weapon for stink-free living. Number 3. Did you know dead people can get goosebumps? Even after life ends, the human body still has a few surprises left. Goosebumps happen when tiny muscles contract, and after death, rigor mortis can cause similar effects. This eerie phenomenon can make the hair stand up, adding an extra spooky element to an already unsettling situation. It's all thanks to lingering nerve activity, proving that the body can still react to its environment, even when it's not supposed to anymore. Number 4. Male giraffes have a rather unusual way of checking if a female is ready to mate. They repeatedly headbutt the female's bladder until she urinates, then taste the pee to see if she's ovulating. If the pee test comes back positive, it's go time. While this might sound strange to us, it's just another day in the wild. Giraffes are all about efficiency, and this unique method ensures that they only put in the effort when it really counts. Number 5. Believe it or not, a full head of human hair is strong enough to support up to 12 tons of weight. That's roughly the size of 2 elephants hanging from your scalp. Each strand of hair may seem delicate, but when grouped together, they create an impressive natural rope. No wonder hair has been used for centuries in everything from ropes to wigs. So the next time you're having a bad hair day, just remember how powerful your locks really are. Number 6. Cockroaches have a pretty wild love life. Male cockroaches don't just woo their mates, they literally stab them. This bizarre mating process is called traumatic insemination, where the male drills his reproductive organ into the female's body to impregnate her. While it sounds painful, cockroaches have been surviving like this for millions of years. It's one of the reasons they're such resilient creatures. Love might hurt, but for cockroaches, it's just another day in the dating world. Number 7. The famous philosopher Jeremy Bentham might not be alive, but he's still hanging around, literally. His stuffed body is on display at the University of London, complete with his real skeleton, dressed in his favorite clothes. Although his actual head was once displayed too, it's now safely stored due to deterioration. Bentham's presence continues to inspire students and academics alike, proving that his legacy and his body have stood the test of time in the most unusual way possible. Number 8. Rainbows are more than just pretty colors in the sky. They're actually named because of how they're formed. The term rainbow comes from sunlight reflecting, refracting, and dispersing through rain droplets, creating that classic arc. But did you know there are also moonbows, dewbows, and glory bows? These rare variations occur under special conditions, showing that the sky has even more colorful surprises to offer. Nature sure loves to keep things interesting with its dazzling light displays. Number 9. A moonbow is like a rainbow's mysterious cousin, appearing at night when the moon's light reflects off moisture in the air. Unlike bright daytime rainbows, moonbows are usually faint and appear white or gray to the naked eye. But don't be fooled. Under the right conditions, you can see subtle colors. Moonbows are rare and require a full moon, clear skies, and just the right amount of mist. Spotting one feels like witnessing a secret nighttime phenomenon. Number 10. Ever heard of a dewbow? It's a tiny rainbow formed when sunlight hits dewdrops on grass, leaves, or even spider webs. These delicate little arcs are nature's way of sprinkling some morning magic across the landscape. Since dew only forms in the early morning, dewbows are fleeting and easy to miss. Next time you're out for an early walk, look closely. You might just spot a dewbow glistening in the sunlight, giving the world a touch of rainbow charm. Number 11. A glory bow is a fascinating optical phenomenon that appears as a colorful halo around objects, often seen by pilots flying through misty clouds. This effect is caused by sunlight interacting with tiny water droplets, creating a circular rainbow-like glow. People standing on mountains sometimes see a glory bow surrounding their shadow, giving it a mystical aura. It's like nature's way of saying, "Hey, you're pretty special." Spotting one feels like having your own personal light show in the sky. Number 12. The national anthem of Greece isn't just a song. It's an epic tale with 158 verses. That's right, this anthem is more like a historical ballad than a short patriotic tune. Fortunately, only the first couple of verses are usually performed at events, sparing audiences from a marathon sing-along. If you ever wanted to impress a crowd with a musical feat, memorizing the entire anthem would definitely do the trick. Just be prepared for a long performance. Number 13. Pregnant women have a unique way of figuring out if their water has broken. It's all in the smell. Amniotic fluid has a sweet, almost sugary scent, while urine does not. If they're unsure whether they're about to have a baby or just had a little accident, a quick sniff can provide the answer. It's one of those fascinating ways the body gives subtle clues, making it easier for expectant mothers to know when it's time to head to the hospital. Number 14. Those tiny white bumps around a woman's areola are called Montgomery glands, and they serve an important purpose. They produce a special oil that keeps the skin moisturized and protected during breastfeeding. Even more amazing, they emit a scent that helps guide newborns to their food source. It's nature's way of making sure babies find their way to nourishment with ease. So, those little bumps aren't just decorative, they're an essential part of the breastfeeding process. Number 15. Maryland might be famous for its blue crabs, but did you know its official state sport is jousting? That's right, knights in shining armor are alive and well in the Old Line State. Jousting tournaments, featuring riders charging at each other with lances, date back to colonial times and are still celebrated today. So, if you ever wanted to live out your medieval dreams, Maryland is the place to be. Just don't forget your armor. Number 16. Once upon a time, a massive 10-foot-tall ape called Gigantopithecus roamed the earth. Fossils suggest that these towering primates may have buried their dead, which hints at a level of intelligence previously thought unique to humans. Some even believe they could have inspired myths like Bigfoot. Though extinct now, their remains provide fascinating clues about ancient ape behavior and their mysterious lives in the dense forests they called home. Imagine running into one of these gentle giants. Number 17. If you thought blind people see only darkness, think again. Completely blind individuals don't see blackness at all. They see absolutely nothing. It's nearly impossible for sighted people to imagine, but it's like trying to visualize out of the back of your head. There's simply no visual input to process. Understanding this can help shift perspectives on blindness and what it really means to experience the world without sight. Number 18. Dogs might have a big appetite, but they also have a lot of teeth to match. Puppies start with 28 baby teeth, but by the time they're fully grown, they have a whopping 42 permanent teeth. That's more than humans. No wonder they're so good at chewing everything in sight. Regular dental care is just as important for dogs as it is for humans, so keep those chompers clean to ensure a happy, healthy pup. Number 19. Dalmatians are famous for their black and white spots, but did you know they're born completely spotless? When they're born, their coats are pure white, and their first spots don't show up until they're about a week old. Over time, their unique patterns develop, and no two Dalmatians ever have the same spots. That makes each one truly one of a kind. If you've ever seen a newborn Dalmatian, you might be surprised by how different they look. Number 20. Dogs have a surprising way of staying cool. They sweat through their foot pads. While panting is their main cooling mechanism, their paws also help release heat. This is why you might notice damp paw prints on hot days. Next time your furry friend seems overheated, give their paws a cool rinse to help them out. It's just another fascinating way dogs are built to handle all kinds of weather conditions while keeping their tails wagging. Number 21. When it comes to speed, greyhounds are the fastest dogs around, reaching speeds of up to 45 miles per hour. That's faster than most cars in a school zone. Built for sprinting, greyhounds have lean, muscular bodies and an incredible stride that allows them to cover ground with ease. Whether they're racing on the track or chasing a ball, they're the true athletes of the canine world. If only we could borrow some of their energy. Number 22. Fleas may be tiny, but they have some seriously impressive jumping skills. These little pests can leap up to 350 times their own body length. To put that in perspective, if humans could jump like fleas, we'd be able to clear an entire football field in a single bound. No wonder they're so hard to catch once they get on your pet. Their superpowered legs help them escape danger and find new hosts with ease. Number 23. Hummingbirds are the only birds that can fly backwards, and they do it with style. Thanks to their unique wing structure, they can hover in place, move sideways, and even dart backward in a flash. Their wings beat an astonishing 60 to 80 times per second, creating that signature buzzing sound. This incredible agility allows them to sip nectar from flowers with pinpoint precision. Nature really went all out when designing these tiny, high-speed flying wonders. Number 24. Crocodiles may look fierce, but there's one thing they can't do: stick out their tongue.
their tongues are firmly attached to the roof of their mouths, preventing them from moving it around like other animals. This adaptation helps them keep their airway clear while swimming and makes them more efficient hunters. So, while they might be all teeth and muscle, you'll never catch a crocodile playfully sticking out its tongue at you. It's just not part of their reptilian charm. Number 25. Starfish are fascinating creatures, but did you know they don't have a brain? Instead, they rely on a network of nerves to sense their surroundings and control movement. Their bodies are surprisingly complex, with each arm having its own nerve center to help them move independently. Even without a brain, they're expert survivors, capable of regenerating lost limbs and adapting to their environment. They might not be the sharpest creatures in the sea, but they sure are resilient. Number 26. Slugs might not be the fastest creatures, but they have an unusual advantage: 4 noses. These specialized sensory organs allow them to detect chemicals, moisture, and even light in their environment. 2 of their noses are used for smelling, while the other 2 help them sense touch. This heightened sensory ability helps them navigate dark, damp places with ease. So while they might look simple, slugs are actually quite sophisticated when it comes to sniffing out their next meal. Number 27. Only female mosquitoes bite, and they do it for a good reason: egg production. Male mosquitoes prefer to sip on flower nectar, but the females need the protein from blood to develop their eggs. Using their specialized mouth parts, they pierce the skin and suck up blood with surprising efficiency. So the next time you're scratching a mosquito bite, you can blame the ladies for your itchy discomfort. Fortunately, not all mosquitoes carry diseases, but it's still best to avoid them. Number 28. Polar bears may look white, but their skin is actually black. Their fur is translucent and reflects light, giving them their snowy appearance. This black skin helps them absorb and retain heat from the sun, keeping them warm in freezing Arctic temperatures. Underneath all that fur, they also have a thick layer of fat for extra insulation. So while they might blend perfectly into their icy surroundings, their true color is hidden beneath their fluffy white disguise. Number 29. Bats are the only mammals capable of true flight, and they do it with incredible skill. Unlike birds, which have rigid wings, bats have flexible, webbed wings that allow for precise maneuvering in the air. They use echolocation to navigate and hunt, sending out sound waves and listening for echoes to locate their prey. Whether swooping through caves or darting around in the night sky, bats are expert flyers that play a crucial role in controlling insect populations. Number 30. A newborn kangaroo called a joey is tiny, about the size of a lima bean. When they're born, they're blind, hairless, and completely dependent on their mother. The little joey crawls into the mother's pouch, where it continues to grow and develop for several months. Inside the pouch, it has everything it needs, from warmth to nourishment. Eventually, it pokes its head out to explore the world before taking its first hops. Nature's built-in baby carrier is pretty amazing. Number 31. Moths have an unusual digestive system. They don't have stomachs. Instead of using a traditional stomach to break down food, they absorb nutrients directly through their intestines. This allows them to process their meals quickly and efficiently, which is important since their primary goal is to find a mate and reproduce. Some moths don't even eat at all, surviving solely on the energy they stored during their caterpillar stage. Who knew these fluttering creatures had such a unique biology? Number 32. George Washington's dentures weren't made of wood, as the myth suggests, but of elephant ivory and walrus tusks. His dental issues were well documented, and he relied on these unusual materials to keep up appearances. The dentures were uncomfortable and stained easily, requiring frequent maintenance. Despite their challenges, Washington persevered, leading a nation while dealing with some serious dental discomfort. Imagine giving speeches with a set of tusk-filled teeth. Not exactly the most comfortable situation for the first president. Number 33. Reindeer milk is richer and fattier than cow's milk, perfect for life in the Arctic. With a fat content of around 22%, it provides essential energy for reindeer calves to survive the harsh conditions. The high fat content helps insulate their bodies and keep them warm in freezing temperatures. If humans tried drinking it, they'd find it thick and creamy, more like heavy cream than regular milk. It's the perfect fuel for these winter-ready creatures.
Number 34. Goats and sheep are seasonal breeders, meaning they only mate during specific times of the year. This ensures that their offspring are born during seasons when food is plentiful and weather conditions are ideal. For most breeds, mating season happens in the fall, so the babies, called kids and lambs, arrive in the spring. Farmers take advantage of this natural cycle to plan their herds and maximize productivity. It's all part of nature's clever way of ensuring survival. Number 35. An elephant's sense of smell is truly extraordinary. They can detect water from up to 3 miles away. With their highly sensitive trunks, packed with millions of olfactory receptors, they can sniff out underground water sources and even distant lakes. This incredible ability helps them survive in arid environments where water can be scarce. Their trunks aren't just for smelling. They also use them to drink, spray water, and even show affection. Elephants really are nature's multitaskers. Number 36. Deer might look like they'd happily munch on hay, but they actually can't digest it properly. Unlike cows, their digestive systems are designed for fresh, leafy vegetation, like twigs, leaves, and grass. When given hay, especially dry or coarse varieties, they struggle to extract enough nutrients from it. This is why feeding wild deer hay in the winter isn't the best idea. Nature knows what's best for them, and their diet is fine-tuned to their environment. Number 37. A skunk has a famous defense mechanism, but did you know it won't bite and spray at the same time? Skunks prefer to avoid confrontation, giving plenty of warning before they unleash their smelly weapon. They stomp their feet, hiss, and raise their tails to let potential threats know they mean business. If they do spray, they'll conserve their stink for emergencies. The spray is incredibly strong and can be smelled from miles away, making skunks the ultimate defense experts. Number 38. The fear of animals is called zoophobia, and it can range from mild discomfort to extreme anxiety. People with zoophobia might experience rapid heartbeat, sweating, and panic at the mere sight or thought of animals. This phobia can be triggered by specific animals like dogs or snakes, or by all animals in general. Fortunately, therapy and exposure techniques can help individuals overcome their fears. After all, animals are an important part of our world, and most are harmless. Number 39. Humans have a surprising genetic connection to slugs. We share 70% of our DNA with them. Despite our obvious differences, slugs and humans have many of the same basic biological processes, such as cell division and energy production. This genetic similarity is a reminder that all life on Earth shares a common ancestry. Next time you see a slug in your garden, remember that you're more closely related to it than you might think. Number 40. Chimpanzees are our closest living relatives, sharing an impressive 98.4% of our DNA. This close genetic link explains their intelligence, social behaviors, and even emotional expressions. Chimps can learn sign language, solve puzzles, and form complex social hierarchies. Their similarities to humans are fascinating and provide insight into our own evolutionary history. Whether they're using tools or showing empathy, it's easy to see why chimps are considered our closest cousins in the animal kingdom. Number 41. Fireflies are fascinating little creatures, and here's a fun fact. They don't bite or have pincers. These glowing insects are completely harmless to humans and animals. They use their bioluminescence to attract mates and communicate, lighting up warm summer nights with their beautiful flashing patterns. Despite their gentle nature, fireflies have an important ecological role, helping to control insect populations. So next time you see them flickering in the night, enjoy their harmless glow without worry. Number 42. Dogs may love table scraps, but some human foods can be dangerous for them. Chocolate, macadamia nuts, cooked onions, and anything containing caffeine can be harmful and even toxic. These foods can cause a range of health problems, from upset stomachs to more serious issues like organ damage. It's important to keep these items out of reach and stick to dog-friendly treats. After all, our furry friends deserve to stay happy, healthy, and safe from potential dangers. Number 43. No two tigers have the same stripes. Each tiger's pattern is as unique as a fingerprint. These distinctive markings help researchers and conservationists identify individual tigers in the wild. The stripes also serve a practical purpose. acting as camouflage in dense forests and tall grasses. Whether hunting or hiding, tigers rely on their unique patterns to blend into their surroundings. So, if you ever see a tiger in the wild, remember that it's one of a kind. Number 44. Donkeys have an amazing field of vision thanks to the placement of their eyes. They can see all 4 of their legs at once. This wide range of vision helps them navigate rough terrain and avoid potential dangers. Unlike horses, donkeys have a strong sense of self-preservation and rarely make risky moves. Their excellent eyesight, combined with their natural caution, makes them sure-footed and reliable companions for carrying loads across challenging landscapes. Number 45. At birth, a panda cub is incredibly tiny, about the size of a mouse, weighing only 4 ounces. Despite their large, cuddly adult appearance, baby pandas are born pink, hairless, and completely helpless. They rely on their mothers for warmth and nourishment, growing rapidly over the next several months. Pandas have one of the most dramatic size transformations in the animal kingdom, going from a tiny newborn to a 100-pound bamboo-munching giant in just a couple of years. Number 46. Oysters have a pretty unique superpower. They can change their gender multiple times throughout their lives. Depending on the environmental conditions and mating needs, they can switch from male to female and back again. This incredible ability helps ensure the survival of their population by allowing them to adapt to changing situations. So the next time you enjoy oysters, remember that they might have gone through a few identity changes before ending up on your plate. Number 47. The giant anteater is a truly fascinating creature, with an average length of about 6.5 feet, half of which is its long, bushy tail. With their elongated snouts and powerful claws, anteaters are perfectly adapted to feast on thousands of ants and termites each day. Despite their somewhat awkward appearance, they are excellent diggers and can tear into tough termite mounds with ease. Their long tongues can flick in and out up to 150 times per minute. Number 48. Hummingbirds have incredibly fast wings, beating an astonishing 60 to 80 times per second. This rapid movement allows them to hover effortlessly in the air while sipping nectar from flowers. Their hearts beat just as fast, reaching over 1,000 beats per minute when in flight. This high-energy lifestyle requires them to eat constantly, consuming up to twice their body weight in nectar every day. These tiny birds are like buzzing little energy machines in the natural world. Number 49. Dolphins have a fascinating way of sleeping. Only half of their brain rests at a time. While one hemisphere sleeps, the other stays awake to monitor their surroundings and ensure they come up for air. This unique adaptation allows dolphins to stay alert to potential dangers while still getting the rest they need. Unlike humans, they don't enter full unconscious sleep, instead experiencing a lighter, more controlled rest. It's just another reason dolphins are considered some of the ocean's smartest creatures. Number 50. Dogs have way more taste buds than you might think, about 1,700 of them. While humans have around 10,000, dogs still have enough to enjoy different flavors and textures. They may not be as picky as we are, but they can distinguish between sweet, sour, bitter, and salty tastes. However, their sense of smell plays a much bigger role in their eating habits. If something smells good, chances are they'll gobble it up without hesitation. Number 51. Grapes can catch fire in a microwave. When you cut a grape almost in half, leaving a small strip of skin connecting the two halves, and place it in the microwave, it creates a tiny plasma burst. This happens because the grape acts as an antenna, trapping electromagnetic waves and causing the water and sugars inside to superheat rapidly. The result? A small spark of plasma, which looks like a miniature lightning show right in your kitchen. The number 172 can be found on the back of the United States $5 bill. If you look closely, you can spot it hidden in the bushes at the base of the Lincoln Memorial. This tiny detail is one of many hidden features found in U.S. currency, which has long been known to include intricate designs, microprinting, and security features. These elements help prevent counterfeiting and make each bill unique in its details and history. Number 2. President John F. Kennedy was known for many things, but one of the most fascinating facts about him was his ability to speak extremely quickly. He was officially recorded as the fastest random speaker in the world, being able to articulate more than 350 words per minute. His rapid speaking style made his speeches powerful and engaging, helping him captivate audiences. His ability to speak quickly was an asset in debates, press conferences, and public addresses. Number 3. During an average lifetime, a person will walk enough distance to circle the entire Earth 5 times. The Earth's equator measures around 24,901 miles, meaning that over decades, most people walk well over 120,000 miles just by going about their daily lives. This staggering fact highlights just how much movement accumulates over time, whether from walking around at work, exercising, or simply moving through life without realizing how far we travel. Number 4. Odontophobia is a very specific and unusual fear. It is the intense fear of teeth. People who suffer from this phobia often feel extreme anxiety at the thought of seeing teeth, touching teeth, or even going to the dentist. This fear can stem from a traumatic childhood dental experience, an aversion to oral hygiene, or even fear of pain associated with dental procedures. Treatment can include therapy, gradual exposure, and relaxation techniques to help people cope with their fear effectively. Number 5. The red food dye that gives Skittles their bright and vibrant color actually comes from an unexpected source: boiled beetles. The specific dye is called carmine or cochineal extract, and it is derived from crushed female cochineal insects. These beetles produce carminic acid, which, when mixed with other substances, creates a deep red color used in many food products. Though it may sound unappetizing, this natural dye has been used for centuries in textiles, cosmetics, and even foods. Number 6. The number 57 on Heinz ketchup bottles does not represent the number of ingredients or types of ketchup, but rather refers to the company's past. Henry John Heinz, the founder of Heinz, picked the number 57 because he believed it had a lucky and appealing quality. At the time, the company had more than 57 product varieties, but the number stuck as part of the branding. Today, it remains an iconic symbol associated with Heinz ketchup worldwide. Number 7. In the early days of telephone use, answering a call was not as simple as saying hello. Instead, operators and users would pick up the phone and ask, "Well, are you there?" This greeting was commonly used before 1895, when someone suggested a more efficient way to begin a conversation. The phrase, "Number, please," became standard for operators directing calls. Eventually, "hello" became the universal way to answer the phone, thanks in part to Thomas Edison's recommendation. Number 8. The surface area of an average-sized brick measures 79 square centimeters. This measurement is based on a standard-sized brick used in construction, which varies slightly by country. Bricks are carefully manufactured to be uniform, making them easier to stack and lay when constructing walls and buildings. Architects and engineers take the surface area into account when planning structures, ensuring that the right amount of mortar and materials are used efficiently to create strong and durable buildings. Number 9. According to various suicide statistics, Monday is the most common day when people choose to take their own lives. Researchers believe this is due to the stress and anxiety associated with returning to work or school after the weekend. Many people experience a sharp contrast between weekend relaxation and weekday pressures, which can lead to overwhelming emotions. Mental health professionals encourage people to seek support and assistance to manage stress and depression, especially at the start of the week. Number 10. Cats sleep an average of 16 to 18 hours per day, making them some of the sleepiest animals in the world. This excessive sleeping behavior is due to their natural instincts as predators. In the wild, big cats like lions and tigers conserve energy by resting most of the day and hunting when necessary. Domestic cats retain these habits despite not needing to hunt for food. Their long naps also help their bodies recover and stay alert when awake. Number 11. The most common name in the world is Muhammad. This name, in various spellings, is widely used across many countries, particularly in Muslim-majority regions. It is given to millions of boys in honor of the Prophet Muhammad, the founder of Islam. The name is often combined with others, such as Muhammad Ali or Muhammad Ahmed, making it even more widespread. Due to its religious significance, it remains one of the most popular and frequently recorded names throughout history. Number 12. It is believed that William Shakespeare was 46 years old when the King James Version of the Bible was being written. A peculiar coincidence can be found in Psalms 46. If you count 46 words from the beginning of the chapter, you find the word shake. If you count 46 words from the end, excluding Selah, you find the word spear. While this could be mere coincidence, some have speculated that it may have been an intentional tribute. Number 13. The word karaoke is of Japanese origin and literally translates to empty orchestra. It comes from the combination of kara, meaning empty, and oke, short for orchestra. Karaoke became popular in Japan in the 1970s, when businesses began offering recorded instrumental tracks for people to sing along to. It soon spread worldwide and is now a favorite form of entertainment in bars, private lounges, and even home parties, allowing people to perform songs without needing a live band. Number 14. The Eisenhower Interstate System, which spans across the United States, was designed with an interesting military feature. According to federal regulations, 1 mile in every 5 on interstate highways must be straight. This design was intended to allow emergency aircraft landings in case of war or national emergencies. While this function has rarely been needed, it remains an essential part of the system's structure. The highways were created not just for convenience but also for national defense purposes. Number 15. The first known contraceptive in recorded history was an unusual and rather primitive method. Ancient Egyptians, around the year 2000 BC, used crocodile dung as a form of birth control. They believed that inserting softened crocodile feces into the vagina would prevent pregnancy. While this method lacks scientific support, it demonstrates how ancient civilizations sought creative ways to control reproduction long before modern contraceptives were developed. Thankfully, medical advancements have led to far more effective and hygienic methods. Number 16. Rhode Island is the smallest state in the United States, but it has the longest official name. The full name, used on state documents, is Rhode Island and Providence Plantations. Despite its tiny landmass of approximately 1,545 square miles, it has a significant historical background. The extended name reflects the state's colonial history, as Providence Plantations was the first permanent settlement established by Roger Williams. In recent years, there have been efforts to shorten its name. Number 17. When you die, your hair appears to continue growing for a couple of months. This phenomenon is actually an illusion caused by the shrinking of the skin. After death, the body loses moisture, causing the skin to retract, which makes hair and nails appear longer. In reality, growth stops shortly after death since the body can no longer produce new cells. This misconception has persisted for years, often contributing to myths about post-mortem hair growth in historical and horror stories. Number 18. There are roughly 2 credit cards for every person in the United States. With a population of approximately 330 million people, that means there are around 660 million credit cards in circulation. Many people have multiple credit cards to take advantage of rewards, cashback offers, and travel benefits. While credit cards can provide financial flexibility, they also contribute to rising debt levels, making responsible usage and payment management critical for maintaining a healthy financial situation. Number 19. Isaac Asimov is the only known author to have published a book in every single category of the Dewey Decimal System. This classification system, used in libraries worldwide, organizes books into 10 major categories, ranging from philosophy to science and technology. Asimov, a prolific writer and professor of biochemistry, was known for his contributions to science fiction, but he also wrote extensively on history, mathematics, and even religion. His incredible range of knowledge and writing ability set him apart. Number 20. The fictional town of Frostbite Falls, Minnesota, is home to the beloved cartoon characters Rocky and Bullwinkle. The newspaper that serves this fictional town is called the Picayune Intelligence. The name plays on the term Picayune, which refers to something trivial or insignificant, making it a humorous choice for a newspaper title. Rocky and Bullwinkle, known for their witty and satirical humor, became pop culture icons, with their show entertaining generations of viewers with its clever storytelling and jokes. Number 21. It would take 11 Empire State Buildings stacked one on top of another to match the depth of the deepest point in the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf's deepest known point, called the Sigsbee Deep, is estimated to be more than 12,000 feet deep. The Empire State Building stands at approximately 1,250 feet tall, meaning it would take multiple stacked buildings to reach the same depth. This demonstrates just how vast and deep the ocean can be. Number 22. The first person ever selected as Man of the Year by Time magazine was Charles Lindbergh in the year 1927. Lindbergh, an aviator, gained worldwide fame after becoming the first person to complete a solo nonstop flight across the Atlantic Ocean. His historic flight from New York to Paris in the spirit of St. Louis. Louis took over 33 hours and made him an international hero. Time magazine began the annual tradition of recognizing influential people following Lindbergh's selection. Number 23. The most money ever paid for a cow at an auction was $1,300,000. This record-breaking purchase was made for a prize-winning Holstein cow, a breed known for its high milk production. The buyer saw the cow as an investment, as genetically superior cows can produce valuable offspring. Livestock auctions can be extremely competitive, with rare and high-quality animals fetching impressive prices. This particular sale set a remarkable record in the history of cattle auctions. Number 24. It took Leo Tolstoy 6 years to write his famous novel, War and Peace. This literary masterpiece, one of the longest and most complex books ever written, was completed in the year 1869. The novel, which explores Russian society during the Napoleonic Wars, features hundreds of characters and intertwining storylines. Tolstoy extensively researched historical events and revised his manuscript multiple times. Despite the lengthy writing process, War and Peace remains one of the most celebrated novels in world literature. Number 25. The Neanderthal's brain was actually larger than that of a modern human. Studies show that the average Neanderthal brain was approximately 1,500 cubic centimeters, whereas modern human brains average around 1,350 cubic centimeters. Despite their larger brains, Neanderthals did not develop the same complex societies and technologies as Homo sapiens. However, they were skilled hunters and tool makers. Scientists believe their brain structure may have prioritized sensory and motor functions rather than higher-level problem-solving abilities. Number 26. On the newly redesigned $100 bill, the time displayed on the clock tower of Independence Hall is set to 4:10. The U.S. Treasury added this small but specific detail as part of the bill's intricate design. Some speculate that the time has symbolic meaning, but there is no official explanation. The bill itself features many hidden security features, including color-shifting ink and microprinting, making it one of the most secure and recognizable banknotes in circulation. Number 27. Each suit in a standard deck of playing cards represents one of the 4 major pillars of the economy during the Middle Ages. Hearts symbolized the church, spades represented the military, clubs stood for agriculture, and diamonds represented the merchant class. These symbols reflected the structure of European society at the time, where religion, warfare, farming, and trade were crucial aspects of daily life. Over time, playing cards evolved, but these suits remain widely used in modern card games. Number 28. The 2 famous stone lions standing in front of the New York Public Library are named Patience and Fortitude. These names were chosen by Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia during the Great Depression as a reminder of the qualities New Yorkers needed to endure tough economic times. The lions have become iconic symbols of the city, appearing in movies, books, and postcards. Visitors to the library often pose with them, and they continue to stand guard outside one of the world's greatest libraries. Number 29. The main library at Indiana University sinks over an inch every year due to a surprising oversight. When the building was originally constructed, engineers failed to account for the immense weight of all the books it would eventually hold. As a result, the ground beneath the library gradually compresses under the pressure, causing the entire structure to sink slightly over time. This unusual fact has become part of the university's lore, making the library a fascinating subject of discussion. Number 30. The sound of E.T. walking in the classic science fiction movie E.T. the Extraterrestrial was created in an unexpected way. The sound designers achieved it by squishing their hands into jelly, replicating the sound of soft, sticky footsteps. This creative approach to sound effects is common in Hollywood, where Foley artists use various household items to produce realistic audio for movies. The iconic sounds of E.T. add to the film's charm, making it one of the most beloved sci-fi movies ever. Number 31. Lucy and Linus, famous characters from Peanuts, had a younger brother named Rerun. Unlike his siblings, Rerun appeared less frequently in the comic strip, though he sometimes played left field on Charlie Brown's baseball team, when he could find the field. Rerun was introduced later in the series and was known for his innocent, humorous observations. Though he never gained as much popularity as his older siblings, he remains a beloved minor character in Charles Schulz's classic comic strip. Number 32. The pancreas plays a critical role in the human body by producing insulin. This hormone is essential for regulating blood sugar levels, allowing cells to absorb glucose for energy. Without insulin, blood sugar levels would become dangerously high, leading to diabetes and other health complications. The pancreas also produces digestive enzymes that help break down food. Although it is a relatively small organ, it performs vital functions necessary for maintaining overall health, making it one of the body's most important glands. Number 33. 1 in 5,000 North Atlantic lobsters is born bright blue due to a genetic mutation. This rare coloring occurs when a lobster produces an excessive amount of a particular protein, causing its shell to appear blue instead of the usual greenish-brown. While blue lobsters are stunning to look at, they are still completely edible and taste the same as regular lobsters. Many fishermen who catch these rare creatures donate them to aquariums rather than selling them for food. Number 34. There are 10 human body parts that contain only 3 letters. These parts are the eye, hip, arm, leg, ear, toe, jaw, rib, lip, and gum. Despite being short in name, these parts serve essential functions. The eye allows us to see, the ear helps us hear, and the rib protects our vital organs. Interestingly, this list excludes bones like the fib, which are more commonly used as abbreviations rather than complete anatomical terms in everyday language. Number 35. A skunk's smell can be detected by humans from as far as 1 mile away. The potent odor comes from a chemical compound called thiols, which are sulfur-based molecules that create the infamous stench. When threatened, skunks release this powerful spray from their anal glands as a defense mechanism against predators. The smell is so strong that it can linger on clothing, pets, and even in the air for days. Special deskunking solutions are needed to remove the odor. Number 36. The word lethologica describes the frustrating experience of not being able to remember a word you want to say. This happens when a word is temporarily blocked from memory, even though the person knows it. It's a common phenomenon, often referred to as having a word on the tip of your tongue. Scientists believe lethologica occurs because the brain's language processing centers struggle to retrieve certain words quickly, especially when stressed or distracted. Eventually, the word often comes back unexpectedly. Number 37. The King of Hearts is the only king in a standard deck of playing cards who does not have a mustache. He is sometimes referred to as the Suicide King because of his unusual pose, which appears as though he is stabbing himself in the head with a sword. Over the years, changes in card design have altered his image slightly, but the missing mustache remains. This distinct feature makes the King of Hearts one of the most recognizable cards. Number 38. Henry Ford insisted that the Model T, the revolutionary automobile he mass-produced, be available only in black. The reason behind this decision was practical. Black paint dried the fastest, allowing for quicker production times. The Model T was designed to be affordable and efficient, making it one of the most influential vehicles in history. Although early versions of the car were available in multiple colors, by the year 1913, Ford standardized black to streamline manufacturing and reduce costs. Number 39. Mario, the famous character from Super Mario Bros., made his first appearance in the 1981 arcade game Donkey Kong. Originally, he was named Jumpman, a carpenter trying to rescue a woman named Pauline from the giant ape, Donkey Kong. Later, Nintendo changed his name to Mario in honor of their American warehouse landlord, Mario Segale. Over time, Mario became one of the most iconic video game characters in history, starring in countless games across multiple generations of consoles. Number 40. The three most well-known Western names in China are Jesus Christ, Richard Nixon, and Elvis Presley. Each of these names became famous in China for different reasons. Jesus Christ is known due to the influence of Christianity, which spread across China through missionary work. Richard Nixon gained fame for his historic visit to China in 1972, which improved U.S.-China relations. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, became a cultural icon recognized around the world, including in China. Number 41. Every year, about 98% of the atoms in the human body are replaced. This happens because our cells are constantly regenerating. Some cells, such as those in the skin and digestive tract, renew themselves frequently, while others, like bone cells, take longer to regenerate. The process ensures that our body remains functional and repairs itself over time. However, some cells, such as neurons in the brain, do not regenerate as frequently, which is why certain types of brain damage can be permanent. Number 42. Elephants are the only mammals that cannot jump. Unlike most animals, elephants have uniquely structured leg bones that lack the necessary springiness for jumping. Their massive size and weight make it impossible for them to lift all 4 feet off the ground simultaneously. Despite this limitation, elephants are incredibly strong, agile, and capable of running at surprising speeds. Instead of jumping to avoid obstacles or threats, they rely on their intelligence, strength, and teamwork to navigate their environment effectively. Number 43. The international telephone dialing code for Antarctica is 672. Despite its icy and remote nature, Antarctica has a small number of research stations equipped with telephone and internet services. These stations are primarily operated by different countries conducting scientific research. Because there is no permanent population, Antarctica does not have its own government or telephone infrastructure. Instead, calls made to Antarctic research stations are routed through the country that operates the station, but the international dialing code remains unique. Number 44. World Tourism Day is observed annually on September 27th. Established by the United Nations World Tourism Organization, UNWTO, in 1980, this day celebrates the global importance of tourism and its impact on economies, cultures, and societies. Tourism plays a crucial role in many countries by creating jobs, promoting cultural exchange, and preserving historical sites. Each year, World Tourism Day has a different theme, highlighting important issues such as sustainable travel, digital innovation in tourism, and community-based tourism development. Number 45. Women are 37% more likely to visit a psychiatrist than men. This statistic is based on studies showing that women are more likely to seek mental health care due to societal norms, greater awareness of emotional well-being, and higher rates of anxiety and depression diagnoses. Men, on the other hand, are often less likely to seek psychiatric help due to stigma or cultural expectations. Mental health professionals encourage both men and women to seek support when facing emotional or psychological difficulties. Number 46. The human heart is an incredibly powerful organ, capable of creating enough pressure to squirt blood up to 30 feet away. This force is generated by the heart's strong muscular contractions, which pump blood throughout the body at high pressure. The heart beats approximately 100,000 times per day, circulating about 5 quarts of blood per minute. Its efficiency ensures that oxygen and nutrients are delivered to every part of the body, keeping all organs and tissues functioning properly. Number 47. Diet Coke was only invented in 1982, making it a relatively new addition to the Coca-Cola product line. Before Diet Coke, Coca-Cola had an earlier sugar-free version called Tab, but Diet Coke quickly became the more popular alternative. Unlike the original Coca-Cola, Diet Coke has a completely different formula and taste, which has made it a favorite among those looking for a calorie-free soft drink. It remains one of the best-selling diet sodas in the world today. Number 48. There are more than 1,700 references to gems and precious stones in the King James translation of the Bible. Throughout various passages, gemstones such as emeralds, sapphires, and rubies are mentioned, often symbolizing wealth, beauty, or divine power. The 12 gemstones in the high priest's breastplate in the Old Testament are particularly significant, each representing one of the 12 tribes of Israel. The frequent mention of precious stones reflects their historical and cultural significance in ancient times. Number 49. When snakes are born with two heads, they often fight each other for food. This rare condition, known as bicephaly, occurs due to incomplete embryonic separation. Although both heads share the same body, they do not always cooperate. Each head may try to control movement and make independent feeding decisions, sometimes even attempting to eat the same prey. Because of these difficulties, two-headed snakes rarely survive in the wild. However, some have lived longer lives under human care in captivity. Number 50. American car horns all beep in the musical tone of F. This standardization makes car horns sound consistent across different brands and models. The frequency was chosen because it is loud enough to be heard clearly in traffic without being too harsh on the ears. Car manufacturers have kept this tradition for decades, as the tone of F resonates well and cuts through background noise effectively. The next time you hear a honk, you might recognize this familiar musical note. Number 51. Turning a clock's hands counterclockwise while setting it is not necessarily harmful. Many modern clocks can be adjusted in either direction without damage. However, antique clocks with chime mechanisms may be sensitive to counterclockwise movement, as it can interfere with the gear alignment and damage the internal components. For these older clocks, it is recommended to only move the hands forward. Understanding how different clocks function can help prevent accidental damage when adjusting time, especially in mechanical timepieces. Number 52. There are twice as many kangaroos in Australia as there are people. The estimated kangaroo population is around 40 million, while Australia's human population is approximately 25 million. Kangaroos thrive in the country's vast open spaces, grasslands, and arid regions. Because they reproduce quickly and have few natural predators, their numbers continue to grow. In some areas, kangaroo overpopulation becomes a concern, leading to government-regulated culling efforts to manage their impact on agriculture and the natural ecosystem. Number 53. Police dogs are commonly trained to respond to commands in foreign languages, with German and Hungarian being the most frequently used. This practice prevents potential criminals from easily giving the dogs commands that might interfere with their duties. German has long been the preferred language because many police dog breeds, such as German Shepherds, originated in Germany. More recently, Hungarian commands have become popular as law enforcement agencies adopt Belgian Malinois, which are often trained by Hungarian-speaking trainers. Number 54. The Australian $5 to $100 banknotes are made of plastic rather than traditional paper. This polymer material makes them more durable, water-resistant, and difficult to counterfeit. Australia was the first country in the world to fully transition to polymer banknotes, beginning in the 1980s. The unique plastic composition allows for advanced security features, such as transparent windows and holograms. Other countries have since adopted similar banknotes, recognizing the benefits of plastic money in terms of longevity and anti-counterfeiting measures. Number 55. Saint Stephen is recognized as the patron saint of bricklayers. According to Christian tradition, he was one of the first deacons of the church and was martyred by stoning. Because of his connection to stones and masonry, he became the protector of those who work with bricks and construction materials. His feast day is celebrated on December 26th, also known as Boxing Day in some countries. Bricklayers often honor him as a symbol of strength, perseverance, and dedication to their craft. Number 56. The average person makes approximately 1,140 telephone calls every year. While this number has decreased with the rise of text messaging and online communication, voice calls remain an essential part of daily life. Business calls, customer service inquiries, and personal conversations all contribute to this total. With the increasing use of smartphones and virtual assistants, the way people make calls continues to evolve. But speaking over the phone remains an important form of communication worldwide. Number 57. The word stressed is desserts, spelled backward. This interesting linguistic coincidence has led some people to joke that eating sweets can help relieve stress. While indulging in desserts may bring temporary comfort, stress management is best achieved through exercise, meditation, and relaxation techniques. The phrase serves as a fun reminder that sometimes taking a break and treating yourself to something enjoyable can help ease stress. Many bakeries and dessert shops use this wordplay in their marketing and branding. Number 58. If you had enough water to fill 1 million goldfish bowls, you could fill an entire stadium. This comparison helps visualize just how much space 1 million small containers of water would take up. Goldfish bowls typically hold about 1 gallon of water each, meaning that 1 million of them would equal roughly 1 million gallons of water. While this is an amusing fact, it also serves as a reminder of how much water is used and stored in large venues and facilities. Number 59. Mary Stuart became Queen of Scotland when she was only 6 days old. Also known as Mary, Queen of Scots, she was born in 1542 and ascended the throne after the death of her father, King James V. Because she was too young to rule, regents governed Scotland in her place until she was old enough to take on the responsibilities of leadership. Her life was filled with political intrigue, rivalries, and tragedy, making her one of history's most fascinating monarchs. Number 60. Charlie Brown's father in the Peanuts comic strip was a barber. Although he was never depicted in the comic, his profession was occasionally mentioned in conversations between Charlie Brown and other characters. Charles Schulz, the creator of Peanuts, based this detail on his own father, who was also a barber. Schulz often incorporated small autobiographical elements into the strip, adding depth to his characters. The subtle references to Charlie Brown's father reflect the quiet but steady presence of parental figures in children's lives. Number 61. Flying from London to New York on the Concorde allowed passengers to arrive 2 hours before they left, thanks to time zone differences. The supersonic jet, which traveled at speeds exceeding Mach 2, could complete the journey in about 3.5 hours, significantly faster than regular commercial flights. Because of the 5-hour time difference between the two cities, passengers who departed London in the morning could arrive in New York before noon on the same calendar day. Number 62. Dentists recommend keeping a toothbrush at least 6 feet away from a toilet to avoid airborne particles released when flushing. When a toilet flushes, microscopic droplets of water and bacteria can become airborne and settle on nearby surfaces, including toothbrushes. This phenomenon, known as toilet plume, can spread germs. To minimize exposure, experts suggest keeping toothbrushes covered, stored in a cabinet, or placing the toilet lid down before flushing to prevent unnecessary contamination in the bathroom. Number 63. You burn more calories sleeping than you do watching television. While resting, the body continues to perform essential functions such as breathing, circulation, and cellular repair, all of which require energy. In contrast, watching TV typically involves prolonged sitting with minimal movement, leading to lower calorie expenditure. Although sleeping burns more calories than passive activities, regular exercise and an active lifestyle remain the best ways to maintain a healthy metabolism and overall fitness. Number 64. A lion's roar can be heard from as far as 5 miles away. This powerful sound serves multiple purposes, including communication with pride members and territorial warnings to other lions. Roaring is most common at dawn and dusk when lions are most active. Their vocal cords are specially adapted to produce deep, resonant sounds that travel long distances across the savanna. A lion's roar is one of the loudest vocalizations in the animal kingdom, reinforcing its status as the king of the jungle. Number 65. The citrus soda 7-Up was created in 1929. The number 7 was chosen because the original bottles contained 7 ounces, while up referred to the bubbles rising in the drink. Originally marketed as a health tonic, early versions of 7-Up even contained lithium citrate, a mood-stabilizing drug, until it was removed in the 1940s. Over time, 7-Up became one of the most popular lemon-lime sodas worldwide, competing with other brands like Sprite in the soft drink market. Number 66. Canadian researchers discovered that Albert Einstein's brain was 15% wider than the average human brain. After his death in 1955, Einstein's brain was preserved for scientific study. Researchers found that the area responsible for mathematical thought and spatial reasoning was unusually well developed, which may have contributed to his extraordinary intellectual abilities. Despite its wider size, his brain did not weigh significantly more than an average brain, further fueling debates about the relationship between brain structure and intelligence. Number 67. The average person spends approximately 2 years of their life on the phone. Whether making business calls, chatting with friends, or handling customer service inquiries, phone conversations take up a surprising amount of time. With the rise of mobile devices and instant messaging, the way people communicate has changed, but voice calls remain an essential part of daily life. While some people prefer texting, others still rely on phone conversations for meaningful discussions and professional interactions. Number 68. The first product ever scanned with a barcode was a pack of Wrigley's gum. This historic moment took place on June 26, 1974, at a supermarket in Troy, Ohio. The scanning of the gum marked the beginning of modern retail automation, revolutionizing how products are tracked, sold, and inventoried. Since then, barcodes have become an essential part of commerce, used on almost every retail item worldwide, making checkout lines faster and reducing pricing errors. Number 69. The largest number of children born to one woman is recorded at 69. Between the years 1725 and 1765, a Russian peasant woman reportedly gave birth to 16 pairs of twins, 7 sets of triplets, and 4 sets of quadruplets. This remarkable record was documented in historical archives, although some experts question the accuracy of the claim. Regardless, it remains one of the most extraordinary cases of multiple births in recorded history. Number 70. Beatrix Potter, the beloved children's author, published her first Peter Rabbit book in 1902. Inspired by a letter she wrote to a sick child, Potter turned her story about a mischievous rabbit into a beautifully illustrated book. The tale of Peter Rabbit became a timeless classic, sparking a series of books featuring other memorable animal characters. Potter's stories have been translated into multiple languages, and her legacy continues through adaptations, toys, and even a dedicated museum. Number 71. In ancient Rome, having a crooked nose was considered a sign of strong leadership. Roman society valued certain facial features as indicators of power, intelligence, and nobility. Many statues and busts of Roman emperors depict them with prominent noses, reinforcing this belief. A strong, distinctive nose was associated with wisdom and military strategy. Although modern beauty standards differ, this historical preference demonstrates how physical features have been linked to perceptions of leadership and authority throughout history. Number 72. The word nerd was first coined by Dr. Seuss in his 1950 book If I Ran the Zoo. In the book, nerd was used as a name for an imaginary creature. Over time, the word evolved to describe someone who is highly intellectual, passionate about academics, or deeply interested in niche subjects. Today, being a nerd is often seen as a positive trait, celebrating intelligence and enthusiasm for science, technology, and various fandoms. Number 73. A 41-gun salute is the traditional military honor given to mark the birth of a royal baby in Great Britain. This ceremonial tradition dates back centuries and symbolizes national celebration and respect. The number of rounds varies based on occasion and location, but 41 is the official count for royal births. Salutes are fired from locations such as Hyde Park and the Tower of London, continuing a historic practice that honors significant moments in the British royal family. Number 74. The bagpipe, an instrument strongly associated with Scottish culture, was originally made from the entire skin of a dead sheep. The early versions of bagpipes used animal hides to create the bag, which stored air to produce continuous sound. Over time, the design evolved, and modern bagpipes are made using synthetic materials. Despite their historical origins, bagpipes remain an important cultural symbol in Scotland and other regions, often played at ceremonies, parades, and special events. Number 75. The sound people hear when they place a seashell to their ear is not actually the ocean, but the sound of blood surging through their veins. Any hollow object, like a seashell or cup, amplifies the ambient noise around it, creating the illusion of waves. This phenomenon occurs because the shape of the shell enhances and echoes nearby sounds, including blood circulation within the ear. It's a common myth, but the ocean sound is just a trick of acoustics. Number 76. Revolvers cannot be silenced effectively because of the loud gases that escape through the cylinder gap at the rear of the barrel. Unlike semi-automatic pistols, which can accommodate suppressors to reduce noise, revolvers release pressurized gases from multiple points, making silencing nearly impossible. This design feature makes revolvers distinct in their operation and sound. While silencers work well on some firearms, they do not have the same effect on revolvers due to the mechanics of the weapon. Number 77. The Liberace Museum once housed a mirror-plated Rolls-Royce, jewel-encrusted capes, and the largest rhinestone in the world, weighing 59 pounds. The museum, located in Las Vegas, was dedicated to the flamboyant entertainer Liberace, showcasing his extravagant costumes, pianos, and memorabilia. His over-the-top style and love for glitzy decor made him one of the most recognizable performers of his time. Although the museum closed in 2010, many of its iconic pieces are still displayed at special exhibits. Number 78. A car with a manual transmission typically gets 2 miles more per gallon of gas than a car with an automatic transmission. This is because manual cars allow drivers to control gear shifts more efficiently, reducing energy loss. However, advances in automatic transmission technology have closed this gap in fuel efficiency. While manual cars were once preferred for better mileage, modern automatic cars with improved engineering now offer similar or even better fuel economy in many cases. Number 79. Cats have the ability to hear ultrasonic sounds, which are beyond the range of human hearing. This incredible sense allows them to detect high-frequency noises made by rodents, helping them locate prey even when it is hidden. A cat's hearing is more sensitive than that of dogs, making it an essential tool for survival. Their large mobile ears can rotate to capture sounds from different directions, allowing them to pinpoint the exact location of even the faintest noise. Number 80. Dueling is legal in Paraguay as long as both participants are registered blood donors. While this law is often mentioned as a quirky fact, dueling is not actually practiced in modern Paraguay. Historically, duels were a way to settle disputes with weapons, often leading to fatal outcomes. Although laws against dueling exist worldwide, this old rule in Paraguay has remained in legal records, making it an amusing but outdated piece of trivia about the country's legal system. Number 81. The highest point in Pennsylvania is lower than the lowest point in Colorado. Pennsylvania's highest elevation is Mount Davis, which stands at 3,213 feet above sea level. In contrast, Colorado's lowest point, located at the Arkansas River, is 3,317 feet above sea level. This comparison highlights Colorado's naturally high elevation, as the state is home to the Rocky Mountains, whereas Pennsylvania is situated in a region with lower topographical features. Number 82. The United States has never lost a war in which mules were used. Mules, which are a cross between a horse and a donkey, have played a crucial role in military history due to their endurance, strength, and ability to carry heavy loads over rough terrain. They were used in wars such as the American Civil War and World War II. While this fact is often cited humorously, it highlights the importance of pack animals in military logistics and transportation. Number 83. Children tend to grow faster in the springtime. Studies suggest that growth spurts occur more frequently during the spring months due to increased daylight, improved nutrition, and hormonal activity. The human body naturally responds to seasonal changes, and longer days with more sunlight can stimulate growth hormone production. While growth rates vary among individuals, many parents notice their children outgrowing their clothes more rapidly during warmer seasons, supporting the idea that seasonal factors influence human development. Number 84. On average, there are 178 sesame seeds on each McDonald's Big Mac bun. The exact number varies slightly, but the sesame seed topping is a signature feature of the burger's design. The seeds add texture and flavor to the bun while giving the sandwich its recognizable look. Sesame seeds are widely used in baking, and their presence on hamburger buns has become a standard in the fast food industry. Despite their small size, they contribute to the overall taste experience. Number 85. Paul Revere's famous Midnight Ride was made on a horse belonging to Deacon Larkin. On the night of April 18, 1775, Revere borrowed the horse to deliver his warning about the British advance. This ride played a crucial role in alerting colonial militias before the battles of Lexington and Concord. While Revere is often celebrated as the sole rider, Other messengers, such as William Dawes and Samuel Prescott, also participated in spreading the alarm that night. Number 86. The Baby Ruth candy bar was not named after baseball player Babe Ruth, but after President Grover Cleveland's daughter, Ruth Cleveland. When the candy was introduced in the early 1900s, the company claimed the name was inspired by the former president's daughter. However, some believe the name was cleverly chosen to capitalize on Babe Ruth's popularity while avoiding legal issues. Regardless of its origins, the Baby Ruth bar became an American classic, known for its combination of peanuts, caramel, and nougat. Number 87. Minus 40 degrees Celsius is exactly the same temperature as minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the only point where the two temperature scales intersect. Celsius and Fahrenheit measure temperature differently, but their values align at this extreme cold point. Scientists and meteorologists use this fact to explain temperature conversions. This knowledge is especially useful for people working in extreme climates, such as Arctic explorers or researchers in Antarctica, where temperatures can often drop to this frigid level. Number 88. In medieval times, clans that wanted to remove unwanted members without killing them would burn down their houses, hence the phrase, to get fired. While this expression is now used in workplaces to describe being dismissed from a job, its origins are much more literal. In feudal societies, being expelled from one's home and community was a severe punishment. Over time, the phrase evolved into a metaphor for being forced out of employment, but its historical roots remain in the concept of expulsion. Number 89. Nobody knows for sure who built the Taj Mahal. While the names of various architects, masons, and designers have been suggested over the years, there is no definitive record of the actual creators. Commissioned by Emperor Shah Jahan in the 17th century, the Taj Mahal was built as a mausoleum for his wife, Mumtaz Mahal. Although it is one of the most famous architectural wonders in the world, the true identities of the artisans who constructed it remain a mystery. Number 90. Every human being spends approximately 30 minutes as a single cell. At the moment of conception, a fertilized egg exists as a single-celled zygote before beginning the process of cell division. Over time, the zygote multiplies into a blastocyst, which eventually develops into a full human being. This brief but crucial stage marks the beginning of life. Though we all start as just one cell, the rapid division and growth that follow lead to the complex biological structures that form a human body. Number 91. A single cord of wood can produce approximately 7.5 million toothpicks. A cord of wood is a standard measurement of timber, roughly 4 feet high, 4 feet wide, and 8 feet long. Since toothpicks are small and thin, an enormous number of them can be carved from a single cord. Toothpicks have been used for centuries for both hygiene and culinary purposes, and their mass production continues today in factories around the world. Number 92. The plastic tips at the ends of shoelaces are called aglets. These small coverings help prevent the shoelace from fraying, making it easier to thread through eyelets. Aglets have been around for centuries, with early versions made from metal, bone, or wax. While they may seem like minor accessories, they play an essential role in keeping shoelaces durable and functional. The word aglet comes from the Old French word aiguillette, which means small needle, referring to its pointed shape. Number 93. The earliest recorded instance of a person quitting smoking was in 1679. Johan Katsu, the sheriff of Turku, Finland, wrote in his diary on April 5th, "I quit smoking tobacco." Unfortunately, he died just 1 month later, though not necessarily because of quitting. This historical record shows that even centuries ago, people struggled with tobacco addiction and recognized the health risks. Today, millions attempt to quit smoking each year, using modern methods such as nicotine patches and counseling. Number 94. The word goodbye comes from the old phrase, "God be with you." Over time, the expression was shortened and evolved into its modern form. In early English, "God be with ye" was a common farewell, used to wish someone safety and blessings as they departed. Language naturally changes over generations, and phrases often become more concise. Although the religious connotation has faded, goodbye still carries the original sentiment of wishing someone well as they leave. Number 95. February is recognized as Black History Month in the United States. Established in 1926 by historian Carter G. Woodson, it was originally a week-long celebration before expanding to a full month in 1976. Black History Month honors the achievements, contributions, and struggles of African Americans throughout history. It serves as a time for education and reflection, highlighting key figures such as Martin Luther King Jr., Harriet Tubman, and Frederick Douglass, who played significant roles in shaping American society. Umber 96. Jane Barbie was the voice behind the recorded messages for the Bell System telephone network. Her voice became widely recognized in the United States as she provided automated responses for phone services, such as directory assistance and operator messages. During the height of her career, millions of people heard her voice daily without knowing her name. The Bell System, which was once the dominant telephone company in the U.S., used her recordings for years before modern digital systems replaced them. Number 97. The first drive-in service station in the United States was opened by Gulf Oil Company on December 1, 1913 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Before this, gasoline was typically sold in containers at general stores and pharmacies. The establishment of the drive-in station revolutionized the way people refueled their vehicles, making it more convenient for drivers. This concept quickly spread across the country, leading to the modern gas stations we use today, complete with multiple fuel pumps and convenience stores. Number 98. The elephant is the only animal with 4 knees. Unlike most mammals, which have joints structured differently in their limbs, elephants have fully developed knees on all 4 legs. This unique anatomy helps support their massive weight and allows them to move with stability. However, despite having 4 knees, elephants cannot jump due to their size and joint structure. Their legs are designed for walking long distances rather than leaping, which differentiates them from many other large land animals. Number 99. Kansas state law requires pedestrians crossing highways at night to wear taillights. This unusual law was originally intended to improve visibility and safety for pedestrians walking along or crossing highways in rural areas. While it is not commonly enforced today, it highlights the importance of pedestrian safety, especially in low visibility conditions. Many states have laws requiring reflective clothing or flashlights for nighttime walkers, but Kansas stands out for its specific requirement of taillights, making it one of the quirkiest traffic laws. Number 100. Avocados in Hawaii can grow as big as a newborn baby, reaching weights of up to 10 pounds or more. Unlike the smaller Hass avocados commonly found in grocery stores, Hawaiian avocados belong to larger varieties, such as the Kona Charwil and other local cultivars. These massive avocados thrive in Hawaii's tropical climate, where nutrient-rich volcanic soil and ample rainfall contribute to their impressive size. Some Hawaiian avocado trees produce fruit so large that a single avocado can feed multiple people. Number 101. 58% of women have at least one tattoo, while only 41% of men have one. Over the past few decades, tattoos have become more popular among women, with many choosing designs that hold personal meaning or aesthetic appeal. However, despite their love for body art, women are twice as likely to seek tattoo removal compared to men. This higher removal rate is often due to changes in personal taste, professional concerns, or regret over impulsive decisions. Advances in laser technology have made tattoo removal more effective, though it remains a costly and sometimes painful process. Interestingly, studies suggest that women tend to get smaller, more delicate tattoos, while men often opt for larger, more intricate designs. Regardless of gender, tattoos continue to be a form of self-expression, with removal options available for those who change their minds over time. Number 1. It might sound surprising, but peanuts play a crucial role in making dynamite. The oil extracted from peanuts is processed to create glycerol, which is a key ingredient in the production of nitroglycerin, one of the most powerful and commonly used explosives. While you might associate peanuts with snacks or peanut butter, they also have industrial applications that go far beyond the kitchen. Who knew something so small could contribute to something as explosive as dynamite? Number 2. Butterflies don't emerge from their chrysalises ready to soar. When they first break free, their wings are crumpled, soft, and completely unusable for flight. To fix this, the butterfly pumps a special fluid, called hemolymph, from its abdomen into the veins of its wings, slowly expanding them like inflating a balloon. This process can take hours, during which the butterfly must wait patiently before it can take to the skies in its fully developed, magnificent form. Number 3. Have you ever played a game where you name all the US states? Here's a fun challenge. Try to think of a state that contains the letter Q. Give up? That's because there isn't one. Out of all 50 states, not a single name includes the letter Q. While letters like A and N dominate state names, Q remains mysteriously absent, making it a linguistic oddity in American geography. Number 4. Chicago, known as the Windy City, actually owes its nickname to more than just breezy weather. In the 1800s, New York journalists coined the term to mock Chicago politicians, who were seen as long-winded and full of empty promises. Their boastful speeches and exaggerated claims led to the sarcastic label, suggesting they were full of hot air. While the city does experience gusty winds, its reputation for being windy has more to do with talkative politicians than turbulent weather. Number 5. Unlike most of your body, which stops growing after puberty, your nose and ears continue to get larger as you age. This isn't because of ongoing cell growth, but rather due to gravity and the natural weakening of cartilage, which causes them to droop and stretch over time. So, if you've ever wondered why older people tend to have larger ears and noses, it's simply the effect of aging taking its toll on these ever-expanding features. Number 6. Despite their name, canned baked beans aren't actually baked. Instead, they are slowly stewed in a thick sauce inside large industrial vats. The process begins with soaking the beans, followed by cooking them in a flavorful tomato-based sauce. The mixture is then sealed in cans and heated to a high temperature to ensure long-term preservation. The term baked likely comes from traditional recipes that originally required slow baking, but modern mass production methods have made stewing the preferred technique. Number 7. Even though camels are known for their distinctive humps, their spines are actually straight. Unlike what many people assume, a camel's hump isn't made of bone, but is instead a large fat reserve that helps them survive in harsh desert conditions. This stored fat can be converted into water and energy when food is scarce. Their spines remain perfectly aligned beneath all that weight, allowing camels to carry heavy loads without compromising their skeletal structure. Number 8. Tucked away in the Appalachian region of West Virginia, there's a river with one of the strangest names in the United States, Big Ugly Creek. While the name might raise eyebrows, the area itself is actually quite scenic, with rolling hills and lush greenery surrounding the waterway. The origin of the name remains unclear, though some say it came from an early settler's description of the rugged terrain. Regardless of how it got its name, it certainly makes for a memorable road trip destination. Number 9. No matter how special you feel on your birthday, you're far from alone in celebrating it. Statistically, at least 9 million other people around the world share your exact birth date. This is due to the sheer size of the global population and the relatively even distribution of births throughout the year. While some dates, like September 9th, tend to be more common, and holidays like Christmas see fewer births, chances are high that many people are blowing out candles the same day as you. Number 10. It's a fun challenge people love to test, but no matter how hard you try, no piece of A4 paper can be folded more than 7 times. The reason lies in the exponential increase in thickness with each fold. Each time you fold, the paper's layers double, making it harder to compress. While some have managed to fold larger sheets of specialized paper more than 7 times, the typical A4-sized paper reaches its limit long before hitting double digits. Number 11. Oysters are some of the most fascinating creatures in the ocean, and one of their most incredible abilities is their capacity to change genders. Throughout their lifetime, oysters can switch between male and female multiple times, depending on environmental factors and reproductive needs. This unique adaptation helps maintain a balanced population, ensuring there are enough males and females to reproduce. Scientists believe this trait evolved as a survival mechanism, allowing oysters to maximize their chances of creating offspring. Number 12. Goosebumps aren't just for the living. After death, human bodies can still experience this eerie phenomenon due to rigor mortis and muscle contractions. When the body cools and the skin tightens, tiny muscles at the base of hair follicles contract, causing the same effect as when you're cold or scared. It's a strange and unsettling sight, but it's simply a physiological reaction to the post-mortem stiffening of muscles, proving that some bodily functions persist even after life ends. Number 13. One of the most famous paintings in the world, the Mona Lisa, is known for her mysterious smile. But have you ever noticed that she has no eyebrows? Many theories exist about this unusual detail. Some art historians believe that eyebrows and eyelashes were considered unfashionable during the Renaissance and may have been removed intentionally. Others argue that Leonardo da Vinci originally painted them, but time and restoration efforts wore them away. Either way, her missing brows only add to her enigmatic charm. Number 14. Despite its name, a 10-gallon hat doesn't hold 10 gallons of anything. In reality, this iconic cowboy hat can hold less than 1 gallon of liquid. The name likely comes from the Spanish word galón, which refers to the decorative braided bands on the hat rather than its actual capacity. Early Spanish settlers in Texas wore similar hats adorned with braids, and over time the term 10-gallon evolved, leading to a misconception about the hat size. Number 15. Raindrops might look like they're falling fast, but their average speed is only about 7 miles per hour. This relatively slow descent is due to air resistance, which counteracts the pull of gravity. The size of a raindrop also affects its speed. Larger drops can fall faster, while smaller ones may float gently down like mist. Regardless of size, every raindrop experiences turbulence as it falls, giving it the classic teardrop shape we often associate with rainfall. Number 16. The reason men are sometimes called guys can be traced back to Guy Fawkes, the infamous conspirator behind the failed gunpowder plot of 1605. Every year on November 5th, the British celebrate Guy Fawkes Night, burning effigies of him on bonfires. Over time, Guy came to refer to these ragged effigies, and eventually, the term expanded to mean any male person. What started as a name associated with treason and fireworks is now a casual way to refer to men worldwide. Number 17. Lizards aren't just sunbathing when they do push-ups. They're actually communicating. Many species use this peculiar behavior to signal dominance, attract mates, or warn off rivals. The number and speed of push-ups can vary depending on the situation, with some lizards performing rapid bursts to show aggression, while others use slower movements to establish territory. So next time you see a lizard bobbing up and down, it's not working out, it's sending a message. Number 18. Giant squids are truly the creatures of nightmares, and one of their most striking features is their massive eyes, which can grow as large as a volleyball. These enormous eyes help them detect faint light and movement in the dark depths of the ocean, where sunlight barely penetrates. Their extraordinary vision allows them to spot predators, such as sperm whales, from a distance, giving them a better chance of escaping before becoming dinner. Number 19. If you have a sweet tooth, you might be surprised to learn that the average American will eat about 35,000 cookies in their lifetime. That's roughly 1 cookie per day for nearly a century. From homemade chocolate chip treats to store-bought favorites, cookies are one of the most beloved snacks in the U.S. Whether dunked in milk or enjoyed straight from the oven, they're a staple dessert that adds up over the years. Number 20. Being extremely wealthy isn't always a dream come true. Some people struggle with it so much that banks employ therapists called wealth psychologists to help them cope. These specialists work with individuals who experience guilt, anxiety, or personal difficulties due to their massive fortunes. Many of their clients struggle with trust issues, the pressure of maintaining wealth, or a loss of purpose. It turns out that money might buy comfort, but it doesn't always buy peace of mind. Number 21. Since April 1994, dogs have been banned from Antarctica. This wasn't due to concerns about the freezing temperatures, but rather because scientists feared that dogs could spread diseases to native seal populations. Canine distemper, a virus that can be deadly to seals, was the primary concern. Before the ban, sled dogs were commonly used for transportation in Antarctica. Today, only humans and carefully monitored research animals are allowed, ensuring that the continent's unique wildlife remains as protected as possible. Number 22. Could simply smelling certain fruits help with weight loss? Studies suggest that the scent of apples or bananas may act as a natural appetite suppressant, tricking the brain into feeling full. Some researchers believe this happens because these smells activate the same brain receptors that signal satisfaction after eating. While sniffing fruit alone won't replace a healthy diet and exercise, it's an intriguing trick that could help curb cravings and prevent unnecessary snacking throughout the day. Number 23. Iceland is famous for its stunning landscapes and Viking heritage. But did you know that in 1998, more than half of Iceland's population believed in elves? Known as the Huldufolk, or hidden people, these mystical beings are deeply embedded in Icelandic folklore. So strong is this belief that road construction projects have been rerouted to avoid disturbing supposed elf habitats. Even today, many Icelanders remain open to the idea that elves might be living among them, unseen by most. Number 24. Hummingbirds are tiny powerhouses of flight, and they hold the distinction of being the only birds that can fly backward. This remarkable ability is thanks to their unique ball and socket shoulder joints, which allow them to rotate their wings in a full circle. By rapidly beating their wings in a figure-8 pattern, hummingbirds can hover in place, dart sideways, or even reverse midair, all feats that no other bird species can match. Number 25. Imagine a beaver the size of a bear. That was once a reality. Over 10,000 years ago, North America was home to massive prehistoric beavers that grew up to 8 feet long and weighed nearly 200 pounds. Unlike modern beavers, these giants had different teeth that suggest they didn't cut down trees but may have fed on aquatic plants instead. Though they went extinct, their smaller relatives still carry on the beaver legacy today, just on a much smaller scale. Number 26. A pigeon's feathers actually weigh more than its bones. This is because birds have hollow bones that are designed to be both lightweight and strong, making flight easier. Meanwhile, feathers, especially large flight feathers, contain keratin and air pockets that add to their overall weight. This surprising fact highlights just how well adapted birds are for flight, with every part of their bodies fine-tuned for efficiency in the air. Number 27. Square dancing might seem like an old-fashioned pastime, but in Washington state, it's officially recognized as the state dance. This lively, coordinated dance has roots in European folk traditions and became especially popular in rural America. Dancers follow a caller, who announces the steps in real time, making it both a social activity and a fun mental challenge. Even today, square dancing remains an important part of American culture, with clubs and events keeping the tradition alive. Number 28. While dinosaurs were roaming Earth, volcanoes were erupting on the moon. Scientists have discovered evidence that the moon was still geologically active during the age of the dinosaurs, meaning it wasn't the cold, dead rock we know today. These eruptions were caused by leftover heat trapped inside the moon's core from its formation. Although lunar volcanic activity eventually stopped, the ancient lava flows remain visible as dark patches on the moon's surface, known as lunar maria. Number 29. The periodic table contains 118 known elements, but only 2 letters of the alphabet are missing from it, J and Q. Every other letter appears at least once in the name of an element, but for some reason, these 2 have been left out. Scientists have yet to discover or name an element that includes J or Q, meaning they remain the only unused letters in one of the most important charts in chemistry. Number 30. You might call it spaghetti, but did you know that a single strand of it has its own name? It's called a spaghetto, following the rule that in Italian, singular words often end in -o, while plural words end in -i. This same pattern applies to other pasta names too. One ravioli is actually a raviolo, and one panini is a panino. So next time you have just one lonely noodle left on your plate, you can call it a spaghetto. Number 31. At birth, a baby panda is shockingly small, tinier than a mouse. Weighing only about 3 to 5 ounces, newborn pandas are pink, blind, and completely helpless. They rely entirely on their mothers for warmth and milk during the first few weeks of life. In contrast, adult pandas can grow up to 300 pounds, making their initial size even more incredible. This extreme growth rate is part of why pandas spend so much of their time eating bamboo to sustain themselves. Number 32. IKEA isn't just a quirky name, it's actually an acronym. The letters stand for Ingvar Kamprad Elmtarid Agunarid, which represents the company's founder, the farm where he grew up, and his hometown in Sweden. Kamprad founded IKEA when he was just 17 years old. originally selling small household goods by mail order. Over time, it evolved into the global furniture giant known for its affordable, self-assembled products and massive warehouse stores. Number 33. There's a town in Nebraska with a population of just one. Monowai, Nebraska is home to a single resident, Elsie Eiler, who serves as the town's mayor, librarian, and bartender. She runs the local tavern and even maintains the town's library, which she keeps open for visitors. Every year, Elsie holds an election in which she votes for herself to remain mayor. Despite being a one-person town, Monowai still follows state and federal regulations like any other municipality. Number 34. The fresh, earthy smell that fills the air after it rains has a name: petrichor. This scent comes from a combination of plant oils, bacteria, and ozone. When raindrops hit dry soil, they release tiny air pockets filled with geosmin, a compound produced by soil-dwelling bacteria. Our noses are highly sensitive to geosmin, which is why even a small amount can create that unmistakable after-the-rain aroma that so many people find refreshing and nostalgic. Number 35. Garlic might repel vampires in folklore, but in reality, it attracts something else: leeches. These blood-sucking creatures are drawn to the sulfur compounds released by garlic, which mimic the natural scents of their preferred prey. While some people believe that eating garlic can help deter mosquitoes, it seems to have the opposite effect on leeches. So, if you're planning a hike through leech-infested waters, you might want to skip the garlic-heavy meal beforehand. Number 36. New York City mob boss Vincent the Chin. Gigante had an unusual way of avoiding arrest. He would wander the streets in his bathrobe, muttering to himself, pretending to be mentally ill. This act, which he maintained for decades, was a strategy to convince authorities that he was unfit to stand trial. Despite his efforts, investigators eventually saw through the ruse, and Gigante was convicted of racketeering in 1997. His eccentric disguise remains one of the most bizarre tactics ever used by a criminal mastermind. Number 37. Bubble wrap wasn't originally invented for packaging. It was meant to be a futuristic kind of wallpaper. In 1957, engineers Alfred Fielding and Mark Chavan attempted to create a textured plastic wallpaper by sealing two shower curtains together. When it didn't catch on as a home decor trend, they repurposed their invention into protective packaging. Today, bubble wrap is a staple for shipping fragile items, and many people love the oddly satisfying feeling of popping its air-filled pockets. Number 38. Jeanette Rankin made history in 1916 when she was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives, 4 years before women had the right to vote nationwide. A lifelong advocate for women's rights, Rankin was instrumental in pushing for the 19th Amendment, which granted women the right to vote in 1920. She was also a committed pacifist, famously voting against U.S. involvement in both world wars, making her one of the most unique and principled politicians in American history. Number 39. Monarch caterpillars don't breathe through their mouths or noses. They breathe through tiny holes along the sides of their bodies called spiracles. These specialized openings connect to a network of tubes that distribute oxygen throughout the caterpillar's body. Unlike humans who rely on lungs to process air, these insects absorb oxygen directly through their skin. This unique breathing system allows them to thrive in a variety of environments as they prepare for their incredible transformation into butterflies. Number 40. Male lobsters have a rather odd way of settling disputes. They urinate on each other's faces. They have special bladders located near their heads, and during confrontations, they squirt streams of urine at their rivals. This bizarre behavior is actually a form of communication, allowing lobsters to assert dominance and establish social hierarchies. It's also how they attract mates, as female lobsters use scent cues in urine to determine if a male is suitable for reproduction. Number 41. The word oysterhood isn't just about shellfish. It's actually a rare term that means a strong desire for reclusiveness, or the need to stay at home. While not commonly used in everyday conversation, it perfectly describes introverts who prefer solitude. The term likely originates from the idea that an oyster, protected within its shell, symbolizes a closed-off or secretive nature. So, if you'd rather stay in and read a book than go out, you might be experiencing a case of oysterhood. Number 42. The phrase "knock on wood" comes from an ancient belief in tree spirits. Many pagan cultures, including the Celts, thought that trees were home to benevolent spirits who could offer protection. By knocking on a tree, people believed they were either awakening a spirit for good luck or preventing evil forces from overhearing their plans. This tradition has carried through the centuries, and today, people still tap on wood for luck, often without realizing its mystical origins. Number 43. Laughter is more than just a reaction to humor. It actually synchronizes the brains of both the speaker and listener, creating a shared emotional connection. Studies have shown that when two people laugh together, their brainwaves align in a way that strengthens social bonds. This explains why laughter is so contagious and why it helps build relationships. It's not just a mood booster. It's a built-in neurological tool for forming connections and fostering trust between individuals. Number 44. Isaac Newton wasn't just a brilliant scientist. He also had some rather mystical beliefs. He was convinced that he was part of a divine lineage meant to receive ancient wisdom, and he even gave himself a special title, Jehovah Sanctus Unus, meaning Jehovah the Holy One. Newton spent much of his time studying alchemy and biblical prophecies, believing that hidden messages in religious texts could reveal the secrets of the universe. His obsession with the supernatural remains a lesser-known aspect of his genius. Number 45. If you need a reason to hug your cat, here's one. Studies show that cuddling a cat reduces stress and anxiety. The act of petting a cat releases oxytocin, a hormone associated with love and bonding, while the rhythmic sound of a cat's purring has been found to have calming effects similar to meditation. Cat owners often experience lower blood pressure and decreased risk of heart disease, making feline companionship beneficial not just emotionally, but physically as well. Number 46. In one of the strangest crime stories ever, a group of monkeys in Delhi, India, once stole a batch of coronavirus blood samples from a laboratory assistant. The monkeys ambushed the worker and ran off with the vials, prompting fears of contamination. Later, they were spotted in a tree, chewing on one of the sample kits. While it made headlines worldwide, experts assured the public that the virus wouldn't spread from the stolen samples. Still, it was a bizarre example of wildlife interacting with science. Number 47. Bart Simpson's name is more than just catchy. It's actually an anagram of the word brat. His full name, Bartholomew Jojo Simpson, was intentionally designed to sound mischievous. Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons, crafted Bart's rebellious personality to contrast with his straight-laced father, Homer. Bart's name, along with his famous catchphrases like "Eat my shorts," cemented him as one of the most recognizable troublemakers in television history. Number 48. There's enough concrete in the Hoover Dam to build a 2-lane highway stretching from San Francisco to New York City. Completed in 1936, the dam used over 4.3 million cubic yards of concrete, making it one of the largest construction projects of its time. The massive structure was built to control the Colorado River, provide hydroelectric power, and supply water to multiple states. Even decades later, its sheer scale remains an engineering marvel. Number 49. Most of our daily conversations revolve around gossip and complaining. Research suggests that nearly 80% of what people talk about falls into these categories. Whether it's venting about work, discussing celebrity drama, or griping about the weather, humans are naturally inclined to share grievances. Some psychologists believe this tendency serves a social function, helping people bond over shared experiences. However, excessive negativity can take a toll on mental well-being, making it important to balance conversations with positive topics. Number 50. A rich vocabulary may do more than just impress people. It could actually help protect against depression. Studies show that individuals with a wider range of words to describe emotions are better at processing and regulating their feelings. This ability, known as emotional granularity, allows people to identify and label their moods more precisely, leading to greater self-awareness and emotional control. So, expanding your vocabulary might not just make you a better communicator, but also a happier person. Number 51. In the United States, it is a third-degree felony to ride or sit on a sea turtle. This law was put in place to protect these endangered creatures, as human interference can stress them out and damage their shells. Sea turtles play a crucial role in marine ecosystems, and laws like these help ensure their survival. So, while they may look slow and sturdy, they are legally off limits for piggyback rides, no matter how tempting it may be. Number 52. Your skin is constantly shedding, and over time it really adds up. Humans lose about 600,000 particles of skin every hour, which means that by the time you turn 70, you'll have shed around 105 pounds of skin. These tiny flakes contribute to household dust, along with hair, fabric fibers, and other debris. While it might sound a little unsettling, this natural process helps renew your skin, keeping it fresh and healthy. Number 53. Listening to just 15 minutes of your favorite music each day can significantly reduce stress, anxiety, and feelings of sadness. Studies have shown that music stimulates dopamine release, the same feel-good chemical linked to pleasure and motivation. Upbeat tunes can boost energy, while slow melodies promote relaxation. Whether it's classical, rock, or pop, engaging with music can improve mood, enhance focus, and even lower blood pressure. So, putting on your favorite playlist is more than entertainment. It's therapy. Number 54. Honey is a labor-intensive product, requiring honeybees to visit nearly 2 million flowers just to produce a single pound of it. Each worker bee contributes only a tiny fraction of that amount in its lifetime, roughly 1/12 of a teaspoon. Bees collect nectar, store it in their honey stomachs, and then pass it to other bees, who process it into the golden substance we enjoy. This astonishing effort is why honey has been treasured by humans for thousands of years. Number 55. Bluetooth technology was named after a Viking king, Harald Bluetooth. This 10th century ruler of Denmark was known for uniting warring tribes, much like how Bluetooth technology connects different devices. The symbol for Bluetooth is even a combination of 2 runes from his name. The developers of the technology originally used the name as a placeholder, but it stuck, and now almost every modern device bears a tribute to a medieval king who had nothing to do with wireless communication. Number 56. A duel between 3 people is called a truel. Unlike a traditional duel, where 2 opponents fight, a truel involves strategic decision-making, who to attack first, when to fire, and whether to form temporary alliances. Mathematicians have even studied the best tactics for winning a truel, finding that counterintuitively, the worst shooter often has the best chance of survival. While it's not a common term today, it's a fascinating twist on the classic idea of a duel. Number 57. Paris has its own Statue of Liberty, and it faces directly toward the Statue of Liberty in New York City. This smaller version, located on the Île aux Cygnes in the Seine River, was gifted to France by American citizens living in Paris to commemorate the French-American alliance. The positioning symbolizes friendship between the 2 nations, with the statues gazing at each other across the Atlantic, serving as reminders of the deep historical ties between the U.S. and France. Number 58. If you have a dark sense of humor, you might be smarter than you think. Research has shown that people who enjoy dark jokes tend to have higher IQs and lower levels of aggression. Understanding and appreciating dark humor requires quick thinking and abstract reasoning, making it a sign of intelligence. While not everyone finds morbid jokes funny, those who do often display a unique blend of wit, emotional resilience, and sharp cognitive skills. Number 59. Termite queens have an impressive claim to fame. They are the longest living insects on Earth, with some surviving for up to 100 years. These queens spend their lives laying eggs, producing thousands each day to sustain their massive colonies. Scientists believe their long lifespan is due to their specialized role, as they are protected deep within the nest and provided with constant care by worker termites. In the insect world, being a queen definitely has its perks. Number 60. Even the ancient Egyptians weren't safe from graffiti. Archaeologists have discovered that Roman tourists visiting the pyramids left behind graffiti over 2,000 years ago. Some of the messages include humorous complaints such as, "I didn't like anything but the sarcophagus," and remarks about the difficulty of reading hieroglyphs. While defacing monuments is now illegal, these ancient scribbles provide insight into what early travelers thought about one of the world's greatest wonders. Number 61. The kereru, a native wood pigeon of New Zealand, has a reputation for getting drunk on fermented fruit. When certain fruits overripen, they produce alcohol, and these birds eagerly consume them, sometimes in excess. Intoxicated kararu are known to clumsily stumble around and even fall out of trees. Despite their occasional drunken antics, they play an important role in New Zealand's ecosystem by spreading seeds from the native plants they consume. Number 62. Sweden has a competitive rabbit show jumping sport called kanonhoppning, where trained rabbits compete by jumping over miniature hurdles. This quirky sport, which began in the 1970s, has grown into an international competition with strict rules and impressive records. The world record for the highest rabbit jump stands at 42 inches, 106 centimeters. Rabbits are trained similarly to agility dogs, using positive reinforcement to master their leaps. Number 63. Hens have a surprising ability. They can eject sperm after mating if they decide they don't want a particular rooster's offspring. This behavior, known as cryptic female choice, allows them to control which male fathers their chicks. Studies show that hens often reject sperm from lower-ranking or genetically undesirable roosters, helping ensure that their offspring inherit the strongest genes. It's a secret superpower of the poultry world that gives them more control over reproduction than most people realize. Number 64. Scientists believe early human ancestors may have had a third eyelid. Some animals, like birds and reptiles, still have a translucent nictitating membrane, but in humans, only a small remnant remains, the tiny pink fold in the inner corner of the eye. While this vestigial structure no longer serves a function, it is a fascinating leftover from our evolutionary past, hinting at adaptations that were once crucial for survival. Number 65. The seagulls used in Alfred Hitchcock's horror classic The Birds were deliberately intoxicated to make them act sluggish. The production team fed them a mixture of wheat and whiskey, causing them to remain still for longer periods. This method allowed Hitchcock to create eerie scenes where the birds seemed ominously present, even when not in flight. While the practice wouldn't be acceptable by today's animal welfare standards, it played a role in crafting one of cinema's most unsettling atmospheres. Number 66. A pangram is a sentence that contains every letter of the alphabet at least once. The most famous example in English is, "The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog." These sentences are often used to test fonts, keyboards, and handwriting. Creating a natural-sounding pangram can be tricky since some letters, like J and Z, are used far less frequently than others. Despite this, they remain a fun linguistic challenge for word enthusiasts and typographers alike. Number 67. Isaac Newton was a member of the British Parliament for a year, but in that entire time he spoke only once. His one and only contribution? He asked someone to close a drafty window. Unlike his groundbreaking work in physics and mathematics, his political career was uneventful. While he excelled in scientific discovery, it seems he had little interest in debating laws or policies, making his brief time in government one of history's most underwhelming political careers. Number 68. The word porcupine comes from the French porc épic, which translates to spiny pig. While porcupines are rodents and not related to pigs, their bristly quills give them a prickly appearance that inspired the name. These quills serve as a powerful defense mechanism. When threatened, porcupines can raise and even release them into predators. Despite popular belief, porcupines cannot shoot their quills, but they are incredibly sharp and difficult to remove once embedded. Number 69. In the 2004 movie Mean Girls, the main character, Katie Heron, was named after Elizabeth Cady Stanton, a 19th century leader in the women's rights movement. This subtle tribute was likely intentional, as Mean Girls is a film about female empowerment and navigating social dynamics. Stanton played a crucial role in securing women's right to vote in the U.S., making her an appropriate inspiration for a strong, intelligent protagonist. Number 70. In 1962, an outbreak of uncontrollable laughter spread through Tanzania in what became known as the laughter epidemic. It began in a girls' school, where one student started laughing uncontrollably, and soon others joined in. The laughter spread to nearby villages and lasted for months, affecting over 1,000 people. Some experts believe it was a mass psychogenic illness triggered by stress. While it sounds humorous, the epidemic led to school closures and concern over its mysterious cause. Number 71. Gelatophobia is the fear of laughter, and it affects more people than you might think. up to 13% of the population has some level of fear that others are laughing at them, leading to anxiety in social situations. This phobia can stem from childhood bullying or past experiences of embarrassment. People with gelatophobia often misinterpret friendly laughter as mockery, making them avoid jokes, humor, or social gatherings where they might feel scrutinized. Number 72. The Wizard of Oz's full name is an amusing mouthful. Oscar Zoroaster Fadrig Isaac Norman Henkel, Emmanuel Ambroise Diggs. In the original book, Oz explains that he shortened his name to just OZ because the rest of his initials spelled Pinhead. While most people only know him as the Wizard, this lengthy name adds an extra layer of quirkiness to the beloved character. It's just one of many fascinating details hidden within the Oz series. Number 73. Poland is home to a mysterious woodland called the Krzywy Las, or Crooked Forest, where 400 pine trees all bend at a bizarre right angle before growing straight up again. The reason behind their unusual shape remains unknown, though theories suggest human intervention, gravitational anomalies, or heavy snowfall might have influenced their growth. Regardless of the cause, the Crooked Forest remains one of Poland's most puzzling and eerie natural wonders. Number 74. The word Q is unique because it sounds the same even if you remove its last 4 letters. Originally, the word referred to the tail of an animal in medieval art, and later came to mean a line of people waiting. Its unusual spelling comes from French and Latin origins, making it one of the strangest-looking words in the English language. Despite its complexity, it's a simple and universal concept: waiting your turn. Number 75. Penguins have different group names depending on where they are. In water, they are called a raft, while on land, they are referred to as a waddle. These names perfectly capture their movements: graceful and smooth while swimming, but adorably clumsy when walking. The social nature of penguins makes them fascinating to observe, whether they're gliding effortlessly underwater or waddling across the ice in their charming, upright march. Number 76. Capitonyms are words that change meaning depending on whether or not the first letter is capitalized. For example, Turkey refers to the country, while turkey is the bird. Similarly, March is a month, while March is a movement. These quirky linguistic twists can create humorous misunderstandings, especially in writing. While often overlooked, capitonyms are a fun reminder of how capitalization can completely alter the meaning of a word. Number 77. If you ever feel anxious about running out of books to read, you might have a bibliophobia, the fear of having nothing to read. While not an officially recognized disorder, many book lovers joke about experiencing it. The thought of finishing your last book without another lined up can be distressing for avid readers. Fortunately, with millions of books available, there's always something new to dive into, making this one of the easiest phobias to avoid. Number 78. A newly discovered species of green pit viper was named after Harry Potter's Salazar Slytherin. In 2020, Indian researchers found the strikingly bright green snake and chose the name Trimeresurus salazar, in honor of the Slytherin house founder, known for his connection to snakes. With its venomous fangs and mysterious appearance, the name is fitting for a reptile that would likely feel right at home in the magical world of Harry Potter. Number 79. When telephones were first introduced in 1878, Alexander Graham Bell suggested that people answer calls with ahoy. However, Thomas Edison preferred the word hello, which ultimately became the standard greeting. While ahoy still exists in nautical language, it never caught on as a phone greeting. Bell's idea may not have survived, but his invention changed the way the world communicates, making hello one of the most commonly spoken words today. Number 80. Despite their size difference, the closest living relatives to bears are seals. Both belong to the order Carnivora, sharing a common ancestor from millions of years ago. Seals evolved for a marine lifestyle, developing flippers and blubber for insulation, while bears remained on land. This connection is particularly evident in sea lions, which share behavioral similarities with bears, such as their social structures and hunting techniques. Though they seem vastly different, they are, in a way, long-lost cousins. Number 81. Under Joseph Stalin's rule, the play Hamlet was banned in the Soviet Union. The reasoning? Stalin's government believed Hamlet's deep introspection, indecisiveness, and existential questioning did not align with the ideal Soviet citizen, who was expected to be strong, decisive, and optimistic. The play's themes of political intrigue and betrayal may have also been considered too subversive. Literature and art were heavily censored under Stalin, and Shakespeare's tragic prince was deemed too gloomy for the Soviet vision. Number 82. In 2012, beekeepers in France noticed something strange. Bees were producing honey in shades of blue and green. After investigating, they discovered that the bees had been feeding on discarded M&M candy shells from a nearby factory. The colored sugars altered the honey's appearance, leading to a batch of strangely tinted, but still edible, honey. While the beekeepers corrected the issue by controlling the bees' food sources, it remains one of the most colorful accidents in beekeeping history. Number 83. During the Middle Ages, books were so valuable that libraries had to chain them to bookshelves. This system, called chained libraries, ensured that books couldn't be stolen, as they were rare and expensive to produce before the printing press was invented. Only authorized readers could unlock and use them. Some of these historic chained libraries still exist today, offering a glimpse into a time when books were treasures too precious to leave unprotected. Number 84. Despite their incredible aerial skills, hummingbirds can't walk or hop. Their tiny legs are only strong enough for perching and making small sideways movements along branches. Instead of using their feet for mobility, they rely entirely on their rapid wing beats, which allow them to hover, dart forward, and even fly backward. This unique adaptation makes them the acrobats of the bird world, zipping through the air in ways no other bird can match. Number 85. A woman who lost her wedding ring found it 16 years later, wrapped around a carrot in her garden. She had accidentally thrown the ring away with vegetable scraps, which ended up in the compost. Over the years, a carrot grew through the ring, perfectly encircling it. The bizarre discovery proves that sometimes lost treasures aren't gone forever. They're just waiting to be found in the most unexpected places. Number 86. Smaller animals such as insects and birds experience time differently than humans. Their brains process images at a much higher frame rate, meaning they perceive the world in slow motion compared to larger animals. This is why flies and hummingbirds can react incredibly fast to movement. It's as if time is running slower for them. This ability gives them an evolutionary advantage, allowing them to escape predators and navigate their environments with precision. Number 87. In ancient Greece, killing a dolphin was considered sacrilegious and was punishable by death. Dolphins were believed to be sacred animals, often associated with the gods and seen as protectors of sailors. Greek mythology is filled with stories of dolphins rescuing people lost at sea. Because of this reverence, harming a dolphin was one of the most serious offenses in ancient Greek law, highlighting the deep respect they had for these intelligent marine creatures. Number 88. A group of goldfish is called a troubling. While it might sound ominous, goldfish are actually peaceful creatures. The name likely comes from the way they move in a restless, darting manner when gathered in groups. Goldfish have been kept as pets for over 1,000 years, originally bred in China for their vibrant colors. Whether in a home aquarium or a garden pond, a troubling of goldfish is a fascinating sight to watch. Number 89. Owning a pet doesn't just provide companionship, it can also improve your health. Studies show that pet owners tend to have higher self-esteem, are more physically active, and experience less loneliness compared to those without pets. The act of petting a dog or cat has been found to lower blood pressure and reduce stress. Even watching fish swim in a tank can have a calming effect. So, having a furry or scaly friend is more beneficial than you might think. Number 90. There's an Old English word for the day after tomorrow. It's called overmorrow. While rarely used today, it was once a common way to refer to future days without using clunky phrases like the day after tomorrow. English has lost many old words over time, but overmorrow still exists in historical texts. While modern English speakers don't use it anymore, it's a charming linguistic relic from the past. Number 91. The word ferret comes from the Latin word fur, meaning little thief. This is a fitting name, as ferrets are notorious for stealing and hiding small objects. Ferret owners often find their pets stashing socks, keys, and even wallets in secret hiding spots. This playful behavior comes from their natural instinct to hoard food in the wild. While their thieving ways can be frustrating, it's also part of what makes these mischievous creatures so endearing. Number 92. A snail's mouth is incredibly small, only the size of a pinhead, but it can contain over 25,000 tiny teeth. These microscopic teeth are arranged on a flexible band called a radula, which acts like a conveyor belt to scrape food into the snail's mouth. Despite their slow-moving nature, snails are surprisingly efficient eaters, grinding down leaves, fruits, and even other small creatures with their minuscule but powerful dental arsenal. Number 93. The Mona Lisa is one of the most famous paintings in the world, and she even has her own mailbox at the Louvre. She receives love letters, poems, and messages from admirers all over the world. Some visitors feel such a strong connection to her mysterious smile that they write letters as if she were a real person. While Leonardo da Vinci's masterpiece remains silent, her legacy continues to inspire passion and devotion, centuries after it was painted. Number 94. Before he became the famous yellow canary we know today, Tweety Bird's original name was Orson. He was also much more aggressive, frequently outwitting Sylvester the cat with a feisty attitude. In early cartoons, Tweety was even drawn without feathers, making him look almost naked. His design later changed, making him fluffier and cuter, but his mischievous personality remained. Over the years, he evolved into the beloved, sweet yet sassy character recognized worldwide. Number 95. A group of lizards is called a lounge. Unlike mammals, lizards don't often form social groups, but when they do, their relaxed sunbathing habits inspired the name. Many lizard species, such as iguanas and anoles, enjoy basking in the sun together, soaking up warmth to regulate their body temperature. Whether alone or in a lounge, these reptiles remain some of the most adaptable and diverse creatures in the animal kingdom. Number 96. The name coronavirus comes from the Latin word corona, meaning crown or halo. This refers to the virus's spiky, crown-like structure when viewed under a microscope. These spike proteins help the virus attach to and enter human cells. While coronaviruses have existed for decades, COVID-19 brought them to global attention. The naming convention highlights the scientific practice of using descriptive terms based on a virus's appearance or structure. Number 97. Tigers may be fierce predators, but they lack one common feline trait. They cannot purr. Instead, they communicate contentment by slowly blinking or closing their eyes when feeling relaxed. Purring is typically found in smaller cats, such as domestic felines, which produce the sound through continuous vibrations in their vocal cords. Tigers, on the other hand, rely on deep chuffs and rumbles to communicate their emotions. Number 98. Reading books might help you live longer. A Yale study found that people who read regularly live an average of 2 years longer than those who don't. Researchers believe that reading improves brain function, reduces stress, and keeps the mind sharp as people age. Whether it's fiction or nonfiction, immersing yourself in a good book is more than entertainment. It's a way to keep your brain young and engaged. Number 99. Moonflowers are aptly named because they bloom in the evening and remain open until sunrise. These nocturnal blossoms have evolved to attract night-pollinating insects like moths. Some varieties even release a lemony fragrance at night to make themselves more noticeable. Their rapid unfurling is mesmerizing to watch, as their petals seem to open before your eyes. While many flowers rely on the sun, moonflowers thrive in the glow of the moon, making them a magical addition to any night garden. Number 100. Octopuses have skin that can see light without needing input from their brains or eyes. Their skin contains the same light-sensitive proteins found in their retinas, allowing them to detect changes in brightness and adjust their camouflage instantly. This ability helps them blend seamlessly into their surroundings, making them one of the ocean's most elusive creatures. Their extraordinary skin-based vision is just another reason octopuses are considered among the most intelligent invertebrates in the world. Number 101. Pangolins are the only known mammals covered in scales, and they use them as their primary defense mechanism. When threatened, a pangolin curls up into a tight ball, making it nearly impossible for predators to harm them. Their scales, made of keratin, the same material as human fingernails, are sharp and can even deter big cats like lions. Sadly, pangolins are one of the most trafficked animals in the world, as their scales are wrongly believed to have medicinal properties.